Tonight, two teams are seeking their first win of the season. The last time Baker opened the year with 2 losses was in 2010. And for the Theodore Bobcats, you have to go back much farther. Let's say 2001. Can the Hornets sting the Bobcats and get a win tonight? Or will the Bobcats defend their home den and swat away those pesky Hornets? We'll find out next with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey Bounty. Down on the sidelines, we have Mike Herndon. Corey, it's early in the season, but it's a big win for these teams tonight.
No question about it. Just happy that both teams are able to kick off in this COVID environment. Toed the leather 1 week ago for both of these teams, but they're excited about getting better tonight, and that's what it's all about, trying to find your strengths and your weaknesses early in the season. But this is a huge region game for both teams.
It is, and we are going to let you know C.A. Douglas Field is sold out tonight. 1,100 tickets have been sold, so you can't buy a ticket to get in. So we appreciate you tuning in and watching us on the MCPSS Network. Corey, let's take a look at your checklist. Theodore is the home team. What do they have to do tonight to get a win?
It's not hard at all. You're looking at Theodore. They must sustain Bobcat ball control, and that's going to be very important to try to ground and pound on the clock. Also, they have to show improvement from week 0, and that's what the biggest improvement is from week 0 to week 1. That's what coaches are looking forward to, is correcting those mistakes, and they must finish strong. What do I mean by that? Play an entire 4 quarters of football with great endurance tonight. Also, you look at Baker on the other side. Baker has to limit the explosive plays that this Theodore Bobcat offense can give you. They have to create Theodore turnovers, and if they're able to create turnovers, that will help them and play in their favor tonight. And they must control the Bobcat beef at the line of scrimmage, Al, and that's going to be important. In the trenches on this wet field that we have tonight, how will they control the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, you're right about that. The field conditions are wet. We had a chance to talk to Coach Eric Collier and Coach Steve Norman before the ball game, and we noticed that it was definitely wet. And one of those areas toward the end of the north end zone kind of had a little patchy look to it. So it's going to be interesting, Corey.
And the way this field does drain, it's on Baker's sideline. It's very muddy on the right hash.
Right.
It's much more wet than it is right here on Theodore's sideline. So that's something to look forward to tonight as the game plays, as these cleats hit this grass field.
Yeah, you're right about that. And of course, we are observing social distancing, Corey. So we have our mask on. We're going to be masked up tonight. There may be some opportunities where we may sound a little clearer, but most times you may hear us muffled. If we are, it's not your TV set or your phone or your tablet. It's just a mask, Corey.
Again, you have to protect one another. The fans are doing a great job with social distancing. And if we just take over and do what these players have been doing since June 1, everything will fall into place.
Well, we talked about it's a sellout. 1,100 people are destined to be here tonight. That is the reduced capacity here at C.A. Douglas Field. Now, we're not the only ones masked up. We got a new guy on the crew with us tonight, Corey. Well, he's not really new to us. He works behind the scenes, but you'll be seeing him for the first time on the camera this season. Our buddy Mike Herndon on the sidelines. Let's check in with him and see what game-like conditions are going on right now. What's up, Mike?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm enjoying being down here tonight.
Cool. How things looking down here?
As you guys mentioned, it's a wet field tonight. We got drenched a little bit earlier as the teams were warming up. It seems to be clear now, and hopefully the field conditions will improve as we go on if we can get a little break from the weather.
All right, Mike, we appreciate that. The Bobcats are entering the field, and Corey Baker won the toss, so I believe they're going to be getting the ball. So we're going to take a quick break and come right back, and we're going to bring you the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. It's Baker and Theodore at C.A. Douglas Field. Don't move.
As Alabama's first and largest school system, Mobile County Public Schools prides itself on the high quality of education we provide our students.
We have been successful over the years in raising our graduation rates
and have been recognized nationally for closing achievement gaps.
We believe that our primary focus is to educate all students to become productive citizens.
This is our commitment to them and to you.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
I'm Tracy Tran, and I'm in the Healthcare and Dental Academy at Theodore High School. In the Dental Academy, I'm working alongside dental professionals getting hands-on training from those already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job makes me want to work even harder because now I know what I want to be.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. To find out more, visit mcpss.com.
We welcome you back to C.A. Douglas Field. It is Baker and Theodore for our first matchup of this high school season. Corey, we were scheduled to do Blunt and Viger last week, but due to some positive tests, the Leopards had to get quarantined. And, Corey, we took a bye last week, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a situation to where you and I both had an opportunity to watch high school football. I know you were able to view the UMS Wright-Baker game, and
right.
I was able to go and watch LaFleur and Williamson. And it's a situation to where I'm just thankful that we're at this point in time in the season, and I'm just thankful that these players are continuing to do what they need to do along with these coaches to help put us, hopefully, into what we want to be all the way until Super 7 time in Tuscaloosa.
That's right. Baker won the toss. They deferred, so Theodore is going to receive the ball. Back receiving for them will be Raheem Quinney and Nylan Harper. They're the return guys, and kicking off for Baker is going to be big Peyton Engel. A last-minute scratch for Baker. Kel Britford, number 4. He does offense, defense, special teams. Coach Norman told us that he will not be playing tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be an unfortunate situation. But, you know, we talked about this potent Theodore offense, and 1 week ago, their leading rusher is put out, and he's on concussion protocol at this point in time. We'll probably see him on the sidelines cheering his teammates on, but he's at least a 1,000-yard rusher that's taken away from this Theodore offense.
So we're just moments away, as you like to say, Corey, from toe meeting pigskin to kick off the season for the MCPSS TV network.
Excited, Al. I mean, a lot of fans and people were hoping we would get to this point. Now the anticipation of Theodore having their first home game of this 2020 football season is upon us.
It has been a bit rainy, off and on. We'll let you know with our Future Ones forecast coming up in a matter of moments as we wait for them to kick this ball off. We appreciate the officials allowing us a little time at the top of the hour to get our things together, Corey, for our broadcast, and we are about to get going. Matter of fact, let's take a look at that Future Ones forecast right now. It rained a little bit earlier, but I think we're going to have the kickoff for Peyton Engel right here, as my executive producer tells me to hold off. And there's the kick right there. Taking my one it up, guys, for Theodore as he gets up to about the 40-yard line. Corey almost wrapped up, but he got to the 40. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Theodore tonight. The Bobcats led by senior quarterback Landon Hurtwriter. He's a transfer from Mobile Christian. Now, he can chuck it down the field. When he does, he'll try to connect with junior wide receiver Raheem Quinney. Also, keep your eyes on number 21, Chandler Randall, also known as the Hammer. We'll tell you more about that later on. The Bobcats O-line has 4 upperclassmen, and they average 280 pounds across the front.
Big beef up front for the Bobcats.
You talked about it. Kirsten Rogers out for this game tonight. T.J. Richardson getting the start, and they give the ball to him, and he is swarmed and wrapped up by the Hornets.
Jordan Kelly, big-time tackle on the play. The nose tackle at 5'10", 235 pounds. He's a senior, no gain on that play. And I tell you what, you're going to have to see Theodore do. You're going to have to see them get the ball to the perimeter because it's going to be tough to run in these trenches. But any runner who's able to turn north and south on this football field will gain a lot of positive yards.
2nd and 10. Hurtwriter rolls out. He's looking to connect with his receiver, and he gets him downfield for a big gain and on the way to the end zone. That is a touchdown for Theodore. Big touchdown. We're going to try to pull his number up and take a peek at that, Corey. Great throw by Hurtwriter to Malik Kennedy. That is Demoy Kennedy's little brother.
And it's a situation to where a great play action call, you run him to the outside of the pocket. He puts the ball on the money, and because he puts the ball on the money, what do you see in return? You see great yards after catch.
That looked to be a 60-yard pass play on the second play of the ball game, Corey. That was huge. On the kick, Miguel Frias, he's a freshman. Ball is tipped, but it is good, and we have an early 7-0 Theodore lead over Baker. Corey, we haven't even got our papers settled yet, and Theodore is already on the board.
You hear those cowbells ringing in the stands, and that's exactly what you could ask for on the opening drive by the Theodore Bobcats.
All right, we'll be back with more action. It's getting hot real early here at C.A. Douglas Field. Theodore on top, 7-0.
Hello, my name is Abby Dinkins. My children go to E.R. Dixon Elementary School. The education that my kids are getting, it's tremendous. There's one time that I thought about homeschooling my kids because I wasn't sure, we're new here. And when I enroll my children at the public school, and I'm just blown away because the teachers are nice, the curriculum itself is different. I believe in Mobile County public school education for preparing my children for life.
C.A. Douglas Field is rocking, and that kick is muffed by the Hornets. Javen Williams, one of his own players, ran into him, but the Hornets fall on top of it. That could have been costly for Baker early.
Just like I talked about in my checklist earlier, Baker needed to limit explosive plays. And what did we see on the second play of the game? We saw an explosive home run ball, a perfect throw by Hurt Reiner on the money to Malik Kennedy, and they have 7 points on the board with a point after being good.
Let's take a look at that Baker offense. The Hornets are led by junior quarterback Landon Larry. Tonight he's making his second career start. He'll try and connect with wide receiver Jamari Hawkins coming out of his slot position, but they may send him out as well. The workhorse for the Hornets offense is senior running back Jay-Sean McMillan. We will call his name a lot tonight. And the Hornets O-line, they average 278 pounds. Landon Larry is a junior, hands it off to McMillan. Up the middle he goes for maybe 1 yard, second down for the Hornets.
Big defensive tackle Jordan Bolton on the stop for the Bobcats, and it's going to be after a 1 yard gain. And again, for both of these teams, it's going to be hard to control these trenches, and it's going to be hard to get your footing about you. But Baker did a great job of throwing quick passes to the perimeter 1 week ago against UMS Wright, and I think they can have a lot of success throwing those quick passes, the quick screens and bubbles to the outside against this Theodore Bobcat team also.
Quick handoff on the end around there as the Hornets try to bring it in, try to pick up some yards on that carry. Jamari Hawkins swings around. They may give him credit for 2 or 3, Corey.
Brings up third and an honest 5 yards to go right here, but offensive coordinator Justin Patterson is going to have to dial up perfect down and distance situations as the Hornets are at their own 27-yard line.
2 receivers at the top for Baker as they look to the sideline. You just called his name, offensive coordinator Justin Patterson. They try to get the call. Larry looks over, and he's got his man right in the middle and connects to Javen Williams. That's a first down, placing the ball at about the 44 of Baker.
Great throw in that situation on third down and 4 yards to go. A nice reception by the 6 foot, 160-pound junior wide receiver. And again, the Hornets did have a lot of success throwing the ball 1 week ago against the stingy UMS Wright Bulldogs defense.
First down for the Hornets. After this play, we'll try to get up the Theodore defense, let you take a look at them. They gave up 42 points last week. That is not typical of a Theodore Bobcat defense. We'll tell you more. Coach Collier not happy at all. Jay-Sean McMillan around the end, and he's trying to bust it open on that Bobcat defense. Gets a first down up to the 40. Let's take a look at the defense for the Bobcats tonight. They play a 3-4 with a defensive line averaging about 253 pounds. Strong safeties number 12, Jamil Richardson. He'll be all over the field tonight. We'll be calling his name, so we don't have it up yet, but we'll get it up there for you. First down once again for Baker into Bobcats territory at the 39.
Great powerful run by McMillan, and he was led by that huge offensive line. It doesn't take much for him. Once he gets beyond the line of scrimmage, he definitely knows how to finish a run.
We said he's the workhorse. A little quick out there to Hawkins. And the Baker Hornets offense is on the move. They're tackling him down at about the 25-yard line. Here's the defense for Theodore. As I told you, they play a 3-4. Strong safety, number 12, Jamil Richardson. He's going to be over the field tonight. He leads the Bobcats in tackle, has one pick already. Junior defensive end, number 97, David Cunningham. He's going to try to use his 6'2 frame to get in the face of Landon Larry as he comes in off the edge, Corey.
It's the battle of Landons. You have two Landon quarterbacks, Landon Larry at the quarterback for Baker and Landon Hurtrider for the Bobcats.
You're right about that. One's a junior and one's a senior. Quick handoff to McMillan as he busts up the middle. Close to another first down. This Baker offense is clicking.
You're exactly right, Al. And first-year defensive coordinator for the Bobcats, Randy Larson, he's no stranger to Eric Collier as they've coached together in the past. But one of the things the Bobcats are going to have to do is break down, square up, and make the tackle. A lot of arm tackles right here, and you're not going to be able to take down these powerful big backs for the Baker Hornets and these speedy wide receivers trying to arm tackle. You're going to have to be fundamentally sound, break down, and really put the face mask right on the back football.
So here's the deal for Baker. They got into the red zone 4 times last week, and they could not capitalize. Almost gave up the ball right there on the fumble. Coach Norman told us he was not happy. Corey, you get in the red zone 4 times, you get no points. That's not good.
And Al, I think they had 3 turnovers in the first half alone 1 week ago against UMS Wright. And under these slippery conditions, you definitely don't want to get down here where they are in the red zone and have that same problem bite you again this week.
We saw a kind of missed handoff right there from the center quarterback exchange. Larry trying to push it over. I think he's going to be short. That was 3rd down.
Let's see if they decide to
As
measure
referee Sean Kelly comes in, if I was Coach Norman, I would ask for the measurement. We're at 7:14. It is quite humid tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
And here it is right here, 4th and 1, right on the 15-yard line of the Theodore Bobcats. All you need is that 1 yard to continue to sustain this nice drive.
So we'll see a Wildcat formation coming up here with Jay-Sean McMillan getting the direct snap. Saw this a couple times last week against UMS Wright. The guys couldn't quite execute, but they execute this one, and he's executing all the way up to the end zone. That is a touchdown. We're going to call it 16 yards for Jay-Sean McMillan.
And again, it's a great job on 4th down of go ahead and gambling in the red zone. And because you trust in your offense, you were able to score a touchdown, and it's the first rushing touchdown. And point after will be tied up at 7.
On to for the PAT is Peyton Engel. Hunter Eubanks holding. Engel missed his 1 attempt last week at a PAT. Kind of shocked Coach Norman. He's normally consistent. And he gets this one up, and we are tied at 7. Corey, we're going to keep it right here. We could barely take a breath the last time Theodore scored so quickly. Take a look at the replay here.
Jay-Sean McMillan, as you mentioned, out of the Wildcat position, and he knows exactly what to do with it. The middle linebacker was nowhere to be found for this 3-4 Theodore defense, and he was able to find the end zone and score 6.
Quite an impact Jay-Sean McMillan having. Speaking of impact, it's time for the impact players of the game. Who do you have featured tonight for your impact players, Corey?
Well, if you're looking at an impact player, it's immediate that you find Jay-Sean McMillan for Baker, as evident in that long touchdown drive and that touchdown run that he just had. Trey Phalo as well, a nice linebacker for the Hornets. Also, Chandler Randall, you mentioned him being the hammer. He's the workhorse for this Theodore offense. And Raheem Quinney, a great athlete and wide receiver for the Bobcats also.
I appreciate that. We're going to try to take a look right quick here at the Future One's weather forecast if we can get it up. I told you it is humid and it is hot here tonight down at C.A. Douglas Field. We're in Bobcat country as the officials. There it is right now. So kickoff conditions, we're about 84 degrees, 85% humidity. Corey, it feels about 94 or 97. But as we progress through the night, you see that the humidity will increase as the temperature barely drops. Winds out of the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour. Mr. LeBounty, that's not helping the heat at all with the wind coming out of the south.
No question about it, Alan. We'll see how these athletes are able to endure for 4 quarters.
Somewhat of a pooch kick there, and it is bobbled by Theodore. Can the Hornets land on it?
It's still loose.
Theodore possibly has it. So they did regain possession. It is a bit slippery on the field, and the pigskin slippery too.
I tell you what, early this morning, you're looking at grease being on that pigskin because it was very slippery in that situation. And the Theodore Bobcats really caught a break being able to keep possession of that football after a huge score by the Hornets.
Well, let's keep it right there. Talking about this morning, you had an opportunity to come by and hang out with the Theodore family this morning, Corey. They fed you quite well.
Yeah, Mark Walters, he's over the Theodore Booster Club, did a wonderful job. But that Baker drive, 9 plays, 78 yards to pay dirt. And again, the Theodore Booster Club, the environment that they create here on the campus at Theodore High School is second to none. You saw some tailgaters out barbecuing earlier.
Yeah.
They had a shrimp boil in the coach's lounge that they invited us to. But this morning, I ate very well thanks to Mark Walter being here.
Well, Corey, the field house smelled so good. I went into the field house and I told Coach Collier, I thought that was residual smells. He's like, nah, Al, that's the shrimp boil going on right now. Up the middle goes T.J. Richardson, picks up about 8 or 9 yards. And, Corey, we're talking about food so much, it makes me think about the folks over there at Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. A portion of subs purchased goes to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, providing life-saving equipment to first responders. So thanks to Jim and Susie Sherman over at Greenlight Road, Corey. They're back again taking care of us.
They really did feed the crew, and I know the crew was happy to see once we arrived with those Firehouse Subs.
You're right about that. First down, Richardson picks that one up. Raheem Quinney in at quarterback right now. He is the backup quarterback, and Landon Hurtrider is at the near side to us here at the bottom of the screen, just below the graphic. So Theodore, Justin Ridgway got a little trickeration, but they keep it simple. They actually go back to Richardson, and boy, he is barreled over by the Hornets.
Yeah, nothing available there. The defensive tackles did a great job of collapsing in. Marcus Osborne on the stop for the Hornets. It's going to be the first heat timeout of the contest.
Heat timeout. If we have a chance, Corey, we can get up the Baker defense because we're going to have a heat timeout here and talk about the defense that the Hornets have. They've given up 7 points so far, but they play a 3-4. Got a defensive line that averages about 231 pounds, being led by senior inside linebacker Terry Kirksey. I mentioned his name earlier. Be on the lookout for him. That's a guy to keep your eye on. But right now, let's take a break. We're going to go down to Mike Herndon. I believe he has a guest with him.
Yeah, thanks, Al. I'm down here with Brad Lowell, the athletic director from Mobile County Public Schools. Brad's going to tell us a little bit about how things are going to look different this fall because of the pandemic. First of all, Coach Lowell, tell us a little bit about the changes that people can expect to see at the ballpark and the teams are having to deal with about the pandemic.
Well, first of all, we're just happy to be able to play. And obviously, with the pandemic and all that kind of goes in with trying to maintain, the guidelines that are set by the CDC and the Alabama Department of Public Health, and also the social distancing guidelines that are in place, the mask order. We try to create the best environment we can to make sure that everybody is safe. And for example, in the bleachers with stands, we kind of set aside certain sections where families that live in the same household can sit together, and then also be able to space apart from other families to feel safe to come and watch a football game. And again, it's just everybody doing their part. The guidelines really are very simple. Sanitation, make sure your hands are washed, make sure you social distance and wearing a mask. And if we can do that, then, these boys can get up here and play and sports can continue. And again, we're just happy to be out here playing.
How will all this affect the postseason, and are there any changes being made in the postseason structure with some teams having to miss games with positive tests?
Yeah, the Athletic Association has contingency plans and set for throughout the season for each sport. Every sport has rule modifications to try to help with the guidelines that are in place. But you're right, there's going to be times where teams have to cancel certain games and forfeit games, and that will impact at the end of the year whenever they sit down and reevaluate what's going on. At that point, one of the contingency plans that they've created will be put in place. And so we really don't know what that's going to be because we really don't know how the season's going to play out, just how many teams are going to be impacted by it, and it goes for each sport.
And real quickly, how are other sports being affected by all this?
It's kind of the same thing. Right now with fall sports, with football, volleyball, cross country, swimming, all these sports have rule modifications that have been put in place in order to try to create a safer environment for the players, for the coaches, for all the families that are coming to watch them. And so, everybody's affected, but ultimately everyone's been doing their part just to try to make sure that, our kids can get out and play.
Thank you, Coach Lowell. Back to you, Al.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. While Brad Lowell was talking right there, Corey, Theodore picked up a couple first downs.
Yeah, nice drive so far for the Bobcats.
And appreciate that information from our athletic director of the county. And coming in with some information on the quarterback, Jason McMillan wraps up Hurtlighter.
6'2", 215-pound junior just coming from his defensive end position, making sure the quarterback did not escape from the pocket, made sure he wrapped him up, and that's going to be close to a 4-yard loss on the play.
This is a 7A Region 1 contest, big for both teams. 7A Region 1 is a 9-team region, and they have a new entry this year with Daphne. We'll tell you more about that at halftime during reclassification. So this is a big game. Neither of these teams want to start off the season 0-2, but you don't want to be in the region hole at 0-1 early as well. Hand off to Richardson once again. Correction on that, Jamil Richardson took that handoff. He is serving as a second string tonight with Kirsten Rogers out.
No secret what Eric Collier's formula is for success. Play great defense and control and grind the clock. Take what the defense gives you, great play action for the first touchdown of the night, but here in this particular drive, they've been able to do it all on the ground.
3rd and long here for the Bobcats as they look to the sideline. Calvin Irby sitting back there in his strong safety position, looking to knock something down. And that one actually over Irby's head as Hurtlighter could not connect with his receiver. And a late flag, some jaw-jacking going on, Corey, on the field. And we have 2 flags on the play.
Yeah, it's a situation to where I don't know if we'll have offsetting or if we had a defensive hold, but we'll go ahead and we'll definitely find out here shortly from our white hat on the night.
I think there might have been a little excessive talking between one of the receivers and defenders on the near Theodore sideline. Theodore beat Baker last year 32-18, and Baker has lost 3 straight games against Theodore, so they're looking for some revenge tonight. Here's Sean Kelly with the call for us. Let us know what's going on.
We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the defense. We also have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the offense, so they'll offset, be 4th down.
So that's a no do-over there, incomplete pass, and we'll just continue on 4th down. Sean Kelly's leading our officials tonight, backed up by Scott Seeley, Kevin Anders, Jason Sullivan, Jamari Harris, Russell Conley, and John Henderson. And Corey, I know this is something near dear to you. You're a basketball official, but official Kelly was telling me, officiating numbers are down a bit too with the pandemic. Some guys may not want to come out.
No question about it. It's been a huge factor right here on 4th down and 10 yards to go. Let's see what the Bobcats decide to do, whether they pooch them deep into their own territory.
Chandler Randall handles the punting duties. Got a nice one there, spiral, and almost down by the Bobcats, but it is a touchback as it goes into the end zone. So as we were talking about officials, he said their numbers are down as well. Some guys don't want to come out, they don't want to risk it, and he understands.
Yeah, it's a situation to where you're minus maybe about 5 or 6 of the white hats, which play an integral part of go ahead and dictating the way this game is called. And it's a situation to where always new officials are always needed in all sports, whether it's volleyball, whether it's football. It's a situation to where because of this pandemic, it really has cut down on the number of officials that are available.
You're right about that. Got to send special shout-outs and thanks to our buddy Robert Ladner with the Call News helping us out on statistics tonight. Our normal person, China Power, she's here with us, but we got some technicalities going on. So we got 2 people helping us out with stats tonight, China and Robert Ladner, Corey.
Yeah, 2 great people. We thank both for their help tonight.
Fumble. Direct snap, and that's a fumble. That's something Coach Norman talked about, cutting down on the fumbles and turnovers. And that quarterback to center exchange has plagued Baker this season, and that's a turnover deep, right at the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the replay.
Jordan Bolden is the one who came away with it, and he pounced on that football in between his legs and was able to scoot and fight and tussle and get that football away from Baker, and it's going to be just like Theodore never punted the football away. They're going to take over right at the Hornet 20-yard line.
Take my flip chart and flip it over, Corey, because back on the field is Landon Hurtrider. As you said, the battle of the Landons tonight. Coach Norman calls a timeout. I think he wants to get his defense maybe settled. With an immediate turnover like that, you are literally flipping the field, but you're flipping the emotions for both of these teams.
It's one of those situations that you really wanted to make sure that you didn't turn over the football, especially deep in your own territory, and that's exactly what happened.
These coaches are quite familiar with each other. Coach Collier and Coach Norman. We'll look at our coaches comparison this season. Steve Norman in his second season at Baker. You can see his overall record, what his hobbies are. He graduated from BC Rain in South Alabama, so he's a local kid. Eric Collier in his 8th year here at Theodore. He has an overall winning percentage of .417. He likes to fish, spend time with his boys. He's a local guy, graduated from Alba High School in South Alabama, and he loves taking those Guatemalan mission trips. Didn't get a chance to ask him, but I'm going to assume he maybe didn't make it this summer, Corey.
Yes, you know he can't wait till he's able to get back and enjoy one of his biggest hobbies, but Eric Collier, as fine as they come here. Coach Norman, again, really in his second full year as head coach, and he's really 2.5 years now once you look at the end of this season, once it's completed. But great guys, and just glad that they're part of the MCPSS family.
I think that was a smart move by Coach Norman. Get his guys settled down, get the emotions together, and say, let's buckle down here. Hurtrider hands it off on a jet sweep. Picks up a couple yards, 2 or 3 for the Bobcats. It's going to be second down. They are in the red zone and trying to score.
Yeah, you want to make sure, though, that this Hornet defense has been on the field for a long time. Defensive coordinator J.C. Todd does a great job calling the defense for the Baker Hornets, and they run that 3-4 defense as well. But as you get down inside this red zone territory, you have to change your strategy a little bit.
There's the hammer lined up in the backfield. Chandler Randall, a bobble snap, but Hurtrider picks it up, Corey. He doesn't miss a beat, but that's going to be a late hit. We all saw that one. Unfortunately, that's going to be 15 yards against the Hornets with that late hit.
And it's going to bring up a first down and goal situation for the Theodore Bobcats, but Hurtrider making something out of nothing in that situation, and he scoots to the sidelines and is tackled when he's well out of bounds.
I think that was Watson Terry or Terry
Waters.
Terry Waters on that. Unfortunate, that's going to be 15 to tack on.
A dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense. It's going to go half the distance to the goal, be a first down.
Well, that's correct. White hat Sean Kelly breaks it down. They're within the 15, so half the distance. So really, Theodore is ready to punch this one into the end zone.
And I would be surprised here if you don't try to run the football a couple of times. And if you can't get them run the football, go ahead and show them that play action pass, as you had success throwing the long touchdown pass on the first drive of the game.
You can see the maturity of Hurtrider there, Corey. Hurtrider, when the ball fell out, he just immediately jumped on it and went into action and salvaged that play, made something out of nothing. Hands the ball off to T.J. Richardson. The Hornets meet him at the line of scrimmage and say, no, 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 like Dikembe Mutombo. No game.
Yeah, and that's a great job of the Hornet defensive line just holding their own in this situation with 1:33 remaining here in the first quarter. It's going to be imperative that they go ahead and try to hold this Bobcat offense to a field goal.
Looking over to the sidelines there for the play call. Hurtrider's got a guy in the corner of the end zone, and it is incomplete as he tried to connect with Malik Kennedy. And Jordan McNeil on there providing some defense, works in the MCPSS TV network office, Gore.
Yeah, McNeil, the 5'10", 170-pound senior, playing great defense on the play, making sure the Bobcats were going to have to go back to that offensive playbook. And he was, like you said, the Kimbe Mutombo style. No, not on my island will you score this touchdown.
But you can see the nice touch in the arm that Hurtwriter has as he just tossed that one over there. A timeout has been called by Coach Eric Collier. 3rd and goal. He does not want to miss out on an opportunity like this. His kicker is a freshman, Miguel Frias. Now, he told me he's good inside the 20, but outside of the 20, he's a bit shaky.
And that's a situation on this wet field.
Right.
You want to try to go ahead and put 7 on the board instead of 3. And there's 59.7 seconds remaining here in the first quarter as the first drives by both of these teams went fairly fast because both teams were running the football and you took a lot of time off of the clock. But here on the last or the 3rd and 4th possessions for both teams, you've seen it kind of slow down a little bit.
Once again, we appreciate you for teaming up and watching us this season here for MCPSS, and thanks to our folks at Future Ones taking care of us with the gear. If you need some team apparel and equipment from baseball to wrestling and all sports in between, wear the future with Future Ones. And of course, a big shout out to Firehouse Subs. All the crew was excited when Corey pulled up with the boxes, so thanks to Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlight Road location. I'm glad they're back on board again with us this season.
Yeah, again, I mean, just the victuals were great. Just an assortment of sandwiches and chips and cookies that we were able to choose from tonight. And thank you so much, Jim Sherman.
I have yet to sample one, Corey. I'm waiting for halftime. We were inundated with several showers before kickoff, and our work area was completely drenched. So I'm ready for some Firehouse. Triple receivers at the top. One guy at the bottom, Jalil Murphy by himself. Another fumble snap, but Hurtwriter doesn't mind. He's got a guy wide open in the back corner, and that is a touchdown to Malik Kennedy. That's his 2nd one tonight. He had 2 last week.
Again, sometimes off of a busted play, that's your best play, and the defender doesn't know whether to step up and stop the busted play or to go ahead and stay with the wide receiver. In that situation, it was number 3, Kennedy, on the reception, his 2nd of the night, like you just mentioned.
Frias on for the extra point. And Frias has booted another one through the uprights. Theodore on top, 14-7 here at C.A. Douglas Field. 51 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Let's take a look at that replay once again. I like the maturity of Hurtwriter.
Yeah, off of the busted play, keeps his eyes down the field and finds it in the corner. Touchdown, Bobcats.
I believe my child's school is probably one of the best ones I could have picked in Mobile. She's in the PACE program. The teachers are phenomenal. The principal, couldn't ask for a better principal. The research that I had done myself, I believe the quality of education in Mobile County Public School System is excellent. For me and my child, I'm gonna stick with the public school system. I think it's the way to go.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give.
Welcome back to C.A. Douglas Field to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. The Hornets take the kickoff, but Darian Craig gets it up to about the 23-yard line. Theodore on top, 14-7. That was a 20-yard drive, 5 plays, and a lovely pass from Landon Hurtwriter to Malik Kennedy.
Yeah, Will James on the stop. Special teams are so critical, and now the Hornets taking the ball over right at the 23-yard line of their own 23-yard line. I think it's going to be real important for Baker to get some type of positive drive here with 46.5 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Their last possession, they coughed it up on the first play right at the 20-yard line with a fumbled snap from the center to the quarterback. So let's see if Coach Norman has his guys under control there, and boy, a clouder of Bobcats wrap up Ja'Shawn McMillan.
Great job of Tyree Farr, the defensive end. He's a senior, tracking down the ball carrier, and it's going to lead to a 2-yard loss for the Hornets. And that's not the way that this Baker offense wanted to start this series. But again, quick perimeter throws, quick perimeter passes. I think that's where they'll have their success tonight.
Landon Larry looking over to the sideline. Baker does not have to snap this ball. The game clock is under 10, and the play clock is at 10 right now, so they can let the 6 seconds run off, and that can wrap up the first quarter for us here at C.A. Douglas Field. And that's what Coach Steve Norman instructs his young man to do. So Theodore is on top 14-7. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll have second quarter action for you just on the other side of this break. You're watching the MCPSS TV Network High School Football Game of the Week.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV Network.
For executive producer Quentin Howard, director Wade Ford, I'm Al Wheat, joined by Corley Bounty. On the sidelines, we have Mike Herndon, and we appreciate you tuning in to another season of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top, 14-7, and it is the top of the second quarter. Corey, interesting first quarter we had.
Yeah, 14-7. You had the offensive explosion early by both teams, but fumbles in the first quarter were kind of Baker's undoing right there, as Theodore was able to score 7 points off of that turnover.
Yeah, we like to call that one points off turnovers. They took advantage of it and got 6 points with the touchdown. Empty set for Landon Larry. Cannot find anyone, and that ball almost picked off by the Bobcats. Mr. Johnny on the spot for them, Donnell Thomas.
Baker with an incomplete pass.
2nd and 10 here. I'm sorry, it'll be third down for Baker. Look at about 12 yards.
And you've known that Ja'Shawn McMillan can be a receiver out of the backfield, but they're going to go with the empty set right here.
Once again, Justin Patterson calling up. They got a guy right in the middle. That's Jamari Hawkins. Javon Williams, and that's a first down as he took it right there in the flat and ran up the seam. Nice pass by Landon Larry.
Busted coverage by the Bobcats, but even better route run by Javon Williams, as he's able to come up with a couple of key receptions so far tonight. As you look at that replay, just right up the seam, catches him in stride. He tries to cut back, but falls down on this very slippery grass.
That's something Coach Norman told us at the top of the week. Landon Larry, he's a junior, but this is his first season getting starts. There was no spring ball. He didn't get any snaps last fall. The previous spring he was hurt, so his timing with the receivers was a bit off last week, and he said the young man came to him at halftime and said, Coach, I'm sorry, I'm not connecting with my guys.
It's a situation to where, again, if you're a new quarterback or at any new position, you missed out on your spring opportunity due to the COVID and the pandemic, but you've been able to work with each other since June, so you're trying to find that rhythm, and sometimes you don't find that rhythm until week 5 or 6. Here for the Hornets, it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go from their own 36-yard line.
This is something you don't see very often in high school football. Over the center Close foul set, and boy, the Bobcats were ready as they just take down Ja'Sean McMillan. That's a loss for Baker. Takes them to 3rd and long.
When you go ahead and you get in that group or bunch huddle right there, you got to make sure that you put a hat on Jordan Bolton. He's the big defensive tackle. He weighs almost 275, 280 pounds, and if you're not going to block him, he's going to blow up your play. 3rd down and 11 yards to go now for the Hornets.
He definitely blew that one up. Decent crowd here tonight. We know we have social distancing in place, but slowly some folks are starting to come out, and maybe the rain had delayed them a bit. We have a timeout on the field, so second timeout used by Coach Steve Norman and the Hornets. Maybe they want to discuss things right here. 3rd and long for the Hornets. You don't want to give this ball back to Theodore because on the previous possession, they fumbled on the 20, and Theodore was sitting right in that red zone 5 plays later. They're in the end zone, Corey. Let's check in with Mike Herndon on the sidelines. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, guys. As you were talking about, there wasn't a lot of normal preparation this year for neither of these teams with the pandemic. A lot of shortened workouts. And both coaches said that was going to be an issue, not only with strength, but also possibly with injury. And also with evaluation. Both of these teams are starting some young starters who are seeing some of their first action. Normally they would have had a spring game to work out some of these kinks. They didn't get that this time. So we're seeing a lot of these kids grow up right before our eyes.
Appreciate that, Mike. And you hit it right on the point, Corey. You talked about Jordan Bolden, the guy who just made that previous tackle. He's a sophomore, one of 6 defensive players that Coach Collier has to replace on a defense that was led by, you could say, the best defensive guy in the state last year, DeMoy Kennedy.
And that's a situation to where the leadership, you'll never be able to replace the leadership and the athleticism that a DeMoy Kennedy brings to your program. But a huge down and distance situation for the Baker Hornets, bringing up 3rd down and 11 yards to go.
Great replay from the guys there in the truck right there. All right, they're all going out for Landon Larry, and he finds Terry Waters, and that is going to be close. We're standing at the 45-yard line. Corey, I'm directly on top of it. I think they're a yard short.
And you know right now that you're almost at midfield. I say you have to go for this situation, and I know you possibly could flip the field off of a punt, but in this situation, maybe try to draw them off sides because all you need is a yard. You're at your own 45-yard line.
So we'll get our first look at punter Hunter Eubanks. Coach Norman's going to punt this one.
Don't be surprised for some trickeration here, maybe to the up back, but it's going to be a timeout probably called by Theodore.
You're right. It looks as if Theodore is going to call a timeout, use their second timeout of the night. And maybe that'll give Coach Norman to think about it. Maybe it could have been that Wildcat look with Ja'Sean McMillan, or it could be some trickeration from special teams coach Zach Ford. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've learned about Coach Norman is he's not scared to gamble when it comes down to this situation. And I wouldn't have been surprised if he had a fake on that play, maybe to the up back in that situation. So Baker coming up with a huge 4th and 1 decision as they're going to the huddle. Good timeout by Theodore to go ahead and they make sure that they're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, so to speak, in this situation.
Oh, you're right about that. 14-7. This is a huge play. Corey, look at the conditions on the field. If you look to the far side, near the visiting side, you talked about it earlier, the turf is literally torn up on that side of the field. So this is something that Coach Norman and his kids, they really need to talk this one out. On the near side, closer to us, the turf looks a little better. But they're more so closer to the other side, being the home bench. Now the ball is on the near hash closer to us, but as you can see, here comes that Wildcat formation with Ja'Sean McMillan.
He was able to go right up the gut and score the first touchdown for the Hornets in a very similar situation in the red zone area earlier.
All right, here we go. It's 4th and short. Big play here. Fake the handoff. He's going to keep it. McMillan has it, crosses the midfield stripe into Bobcats territory. The guy's a senior. He rushed for more than 900 yards last year. He's great in short yardage situations.
And that's a first down that the Hornets really needed to pick up as we have 9-10 remaining here in the first half of play. And the Hornets were able to go ahead and ground on this nice play, and we're going to have a flag on the play.
Yeah, flag comes in for one of the officials here on the near side. Now I saw him give a warning to the Bobcats early in the first quarter, like a sideline warning. And I wonder if that is something that's going to come back and bite him right now. I didn't see any motion.
Sideline on Theodore, be a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, you get the first one's going to be a warning. The second one's going to be a penalty assessed. And the Bobcats are lucky that wasn't on 4th down in that 1-yard situation, even though McMillan was able to pick it up. But 1st and 5, you like that down and distance situation. Much better if you're offensive coordinator Justin Patterson.
Wildcat formation still in play here for Baker. They're going to stick with it. Hawkins takes the handoff on a jet sweep. Since it's 1st and 5, he picked up maybe 1 or 2. He'll be 2nd and about 4 yards here.
Positive yardage is what's gained, even though the jet sweep was not able to hit the corner and the perimeter like it wanted to. But I think that now it's a situation to where, Al, you just mentioned it, the Hornets were smart enough to run that jet sweep toward the Theodore Bobcat sideline.
Good side of the field,
instead of their sideline, to where the field is much more murkier and muddier.
Once again, McMillan ready for the direct snap. In motion goes Hawkins. Oh, big hole right there, Corey. You and I could have fit through there, and Robert Ladner. That's a 1st down for the Hornets.
Great strong run by Jashawn McMillan, and you mentioned almost 1,000-yard rushers a year ago for the Baker Hornets. Last week against UMS Wright had 18 rushes for 109 yards, and he's just continuing to pick up 1st downs, and this is a great drive so far for the Baker Hornets.
The Hornets kind of laying on the Bobcats defense, kind of wearing them here. It's a young defense, untraditional for the Bobcats, only giving up 7 points so far. There's a little slip. Turf Monster might have grabbed someone. Down goes McMillan for about maybe a yard or 2.
Again, positive yardage, going to bring up possibly 2nd down and a long 8 yards to go for the Hornets, but no change being made at quarterback. If it's not broke, let's not try to fix it. Having a lot of success right now staying in that Wildcat formation.
I was just thinking that exact thing, Corey. I think Coach Norman is going to pull out some old school situation here. Why go up tempo? You're almost at 6 minutes. Let's just keep grounding and pounding and make this a good old, just a nasty, dirty contest, one-on-one.
Yeah, McMillan tried to get his footing right there, and that's really the first time you see him slip trying to get to the corner. Tyree Farr does a great job from his defensive end position, bringing him to the ground.
Back on the field comes quarterback Landon Larry. We said at the top of the broadcast he's a junior. This is his 2nd career start.
Farr with the stop on that last play.
Had a little miscue earlier. Couple slip fumble handoffs from the center from Sam Strickland. But right now they need one big. It's about 3rd and 7 here for the Hornets inside Bobcat territory, probably 2-down territory. That ball too wide for Hawkins. Takes Baker to 4th down.
And that's exactly where you saw the success 1 week ago against the UMS Wright Bulldogs with those quick out perimeter passes that they like to throw. And just tonight the timing hasn't been exactly where it needs to be for this Hornet passing game.
The 3 guys they really try to get it to is Javen Williams, Terry Waters, and Jamari Hawkins. Haven't called Jackson Irby's name too much tonight. He's one of those wide receivers that Baker will feature when they go to an all-out set. Ladarian Craig steps in right now at the top of the screen. He plays offense and defense. Empty set for the Hornets with 1 guy in motion. That's Jashawn McMillan, and I believe Coach Norman just burned his last timeout.
And it's a situation to where the quarterback was aware that he didn't have the type of offensive formation he wanted. Take that timeout because right behind it will be the Heat timeout as well. 6:38 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. And again, you're looking at our score. Theodore leading the Baker Hornets 14-7 in our first MCPSS television broadcast.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad to be on the field, on the camera, Corey. I got to say, I had my game day routine ready today, man. I had my game day meal about 3:30 and got myself together and came on down, and then it rained on us.
The bottom fell out while we were interviewing Coach Collier. at midfield, and it was a nice sprint that we had to make to the field house as we were talking to him, trying to get the last-minute scratches, last-minute notes done.
Yeah.
But, again, that's why you see the field conditions being what they are right now, because we did have a couple of torrential downpours from the time of 3:30 almost to kickoff. And right now it's kind of made it muggy and steamy outside. But one thing that you have not seen a lot of is cramping on the field for week number 1. Of course, we played week 0. Now we're in week number 1 of high school football. But with all that being said, that means the players have done a great job of hydrating themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Last week I watched the Fairhope Spanish Fort game. I watched UMS and Baker. I didn't see many guys cramping up. I could see maybe where guys weren't ready, if you want to call it, mentally into what was going on. Those first game jitters, if you want to call them. But, Corey, I haven't seen many guys cramping, so good observation on your part. Larry is going to connect, and that is complete to Javon Williams. First down, and the Hornets back into the red zone.
Javon Williams has been Landon Larry's comfort zone, because every time they need a first down or a big-time throw, he's going right down the seam. So obviously the coverage is not where it needs to be by the secondary of the Bobcats, but I guarantee that's at least 3 or 4 times tonight where we've seen Baker convert on 4th down.
That is right. That's right. They did a lot of it last week. The problem was they just couldn't convert when they got into the red zone. So we'll see what's going to happen here. Breaking the huddle, kind of a little bunch huddle right there, Corey.
Yeah, we call that a muddle huddle in that situation. Gus Malzahn loves to run that at Auburn also.
Hand off to Ja'Shawn McMillan, weaving his way. And the fumble ball comes out. Bobcats say they have it. Let's see what the officials say. Someone stripped it out of McMillan's arms as he was going down.
No instant replay available for these officials tonight, but I think the ball was out before the situation. The officials are going to say it is 2nd down.
And it looks like a Baker Hornet comes out with the ball there. Number 3, Jackson Irby. Johnny on the spot. Let's take a look.
That ball is out. That ball is definitely out, and it's definitely hitting the turf there. And Theodore doing a good job ripping at it. And 5:31 remaining here in the second quarter. We will take another official heat timeout.
Great job, Jackson Irby. I talked about, we hadn't said his name too much, and there it was, Johnny on the spot. We'll be back with more second quarter action. 5:31 here remaining in the half. Theodore's on top, 14-7.
Hello, I'm Renee Phillips, your host of Homeroom. Will you join us as we talk with the students, teachers, and staff about all of the great things happening in our schools?
That's right, Renee. Not only are we here to keep you informed about the great things happening in our schools, but to also keep you updated on safety issues.
Our show, Safe Schools, looks at ways to keep your child and our students safe.
Not only are we looking at ways to keep your child and our students safe, but to keep you informed on how to connect with us.
Manténgase informado aquí en Conexión a Padres.
And we also score big from pre-K to high school with MCPSS Athletics.
And then Inside Education puts it all together for you, showing you the ins and outs about news and events taking place across the Mobile County Public School District. We do this to keep you informed.
Welcome back to CA Douglas Field. Theodore on top, 14-7. Corey, you got some information from Robert Ladner. What's going on?
14 plays, 68 yards so far on this particular drive for the Hornets. And coming out of that heat timeout, we're going to have another penalty flag.
False start against Baker. Now, that's one that you typically see a lot of in the first couple of weeks of action. Saw a few of those last week, but not too many tonight. That may be the first false start tonight.
Yeah, it's a situation to where you want to clean that up as a coaching staff from week 0 to week 1. That's exactly what they've done. And you're right, that old dirty rag has not had an opportunity to hit the turf too much tonight, and it stayed pretty clean by the officials, besides maybe the unsportsmanlike and the late hit out of bounds here in the first half.
So that's going to back Baker up 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and goal, ball at about the 14-yard line, as a few of the Hornets are looking to the sideline.
And that's going to be a sideline warning called against the Baker Hornets.
There's the flag came out. I wasn't aware they had a sideline warning early. Maybe this is just the warning part.
It is. is their first call of the game. So in that situation, just like Theodore, they got the warning to begin with, and the next one will be an assessed a 5-yard penalty.
All right, here we are. There's the warning against the sideline warning against Baker. 2nd and goal, ball at the 14-yard line. Hornets looking to the sideline. We're at 4:59 remaining in the half and counting. Larry's got time. He's rolling out. He's going to dump that one off, and he's got a guy wide open. That's a touchdown to Jamari Hawkins, 14 yards, and the Hornets get 6.
And he's going to get called for unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after the nice throw, a nice little soft lob pass. Landon Larry, as the linebacker, couldn't decide whether he wanted to come back and tackle the quarterback, but it's going to be a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, but nonetheless, great throw, great catch by the Hornets, and they're able to cap off that long drive, probably close to 17 or 18 plays.
We had unsportsmanlike act on the offense. They've chosen to take the yardage on the kickoff.
So that will be assessed. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Jamari Hawkins picks up the touchdown. Kind of lost some sportsmanship there and got flagged on the penalty. Out comes the kicking team for Baker. Peyton Engel on. Well, I'm sorry, Cora. They're going to take the penalty now, not on the kickoff.
A lot of pressure
Coach
now.
Collier has elected. So this extra point is going to be 25 yards for Peyton Engel. Now, if he makes this one, I got a little side story about Mr. Engel, Corey, I want to share. High snap. Engel gets it up, and it is no good, Corey, no good. Coach Norman told me Peyton Engel prefers to kick from the middle or to the far right hash mark. Now, the far right hash mark is closer to them where it's kind of murky, as you said, but that one was lined up in the middle. But that 5 yards made a difference right there on that extra point.
Going to be a little wide right on that extra point. A great job by our crew tonight, picking up that fumble earlier that was recovered allegedly by the Bobcats. But again, the Hornets, it was blown dead. 2nd down was brought up. But on that particular drive, you saw numerous first downs on long down and distance. They were able, Landon Larry was able to find Javon Williams down the seam a couple of times. They were able.
4th down, yeah.
Yeah, Jayshon McMillan was able to go ahead and run the Wildcat, but they probably had close to 10 minutes of time of possession on that drive. So that's huge. That's a huge resting ability for the Baker Hornet defense. And more importantly, they got into the red zone and they were able to capitalize and score. Improvement. That was a 15-play, 77-yard drive. Mr. Robert Latter doing a great job of supplying us with the stats in that drive.
So smart decision by Coach Collier to take the penalty right there. So Baker down 1 point here with 4:42 remaining in the half, 14-13. Corey, this has turned out to be a pretty good game. It was a nasty day preparing for it with all the rain, but I'm enjoying this contest.
A nice high pooch sky punt. That's a live ball.
That is.
If it goes out of bounds, the flag will be thrown, and that's exactly what happens.
So Engel misses that extra point. It's going to put Baker down 8 points. 4:42 right now remaining in the first half. During halftime, we're going to kind of do things a little differently this season, Corey. A lot of changes going on. So we're going to talk about about the Alabama Sports Writers Association polls. Also, we're going to talk about region setup. This was reclassification year. So a lot of different teams playing in different regions. So we'll show that for you at halftime and also let you take a look at the polls that are going on throughout the state. So Coach Collier has elected to have Baker re-kick this one. They're going to take the penalty, take the yardage, and have them re-kick.
Yeah, I mean, you had a situation to where on that touchdown reception by Jamari Hawkins, because he took a quick bow in the end zone, instead of taking that bow on the sidelines, the referee threw the flag, and what wound up happening, it put your kicker in an unfortunate situation to where he kicked the ball wide right on the extra point, and instead of being at 14 apiece, now we're at 14-13. But that's a mistake that young man definitely won't make again under Coach Steve Norman. You learn from those type of mistakes as a student athlete.
All right, here's a kickoff from the Hornets once again. This one inbound, still to the sidelines. And the Bobcats on the move, bringing it up the middle for them. And that ball comes out fumble. Let's see if they jump back on it. It was close to it. Jamel Richardson with that punt return. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bobcats. Great field position there as well, looking at about the 47-yard line.
Yeah, the Bobcats were
not
43-yard
line
to capitalize on that turnover right there or that fumbled ball. And we've seen the ball hit the turf maybe 4 or 5 times tonight so far for both of these teams combined.
Landon Hurtrider leads the Bobcats back on the field. There's the hammer getting in position, number 21, Chandler Randall. Coach Collier told us if we need the dirty work done, we call up the hammer, and he'll do it for us, offense, defense, special teams. And right now, T.J. Richardson getting hammered by the Hornets, picks up maybe 2 yards on the carry.
Showing great balance as he avoids the initial defender and is able to pick up 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 yards to go on the play from their own 45-yard line.
I like what I see in Richardson. He's a good runner, very nimble. Before the ball game, we both got a chance to speak and see Mr. Kirsten Rogers and said, man, we were looking forward to seeing you, but we understand the situation that he wasn't able to make it out tonight after getting injured last week.
When both of those backs are healthy, again, a potent 1-2 punch for the Theodore Bobcat offense.
Yeah, that's typical Bobcat offense, having that 1-2, you're right. Jet sweep for the Bobcats coming around the end. Close to a 1st down, Nyland Harper. Good play right there. Hurtrider kept his wits and stuck with it. So it's going to be 3rd and short here for Theodore as we approach the 3-minute mark in the first half.
Harper gets in on tonight's action with 3.5 minutes remaining here in the first half of play. Going to bring up 3rd down and 2 yards to go directly on the left hash of the 50-yard line.
And Corey, they are on the as you saw, the muckier side of the field, that far hash near the Baker sideline.
Wouldn't be surprised if they came back to their own strong side of the field.
A little pre-snap motion. They had the hammer ready to give it to him.
Yeah. He was definitely ready to deliver and get those 2 tough yards. And
uh-oh, that's a free 1st down. Offsides on the Hornets.
1st down for the Bobcats. Offsides against your Hornets.
So Theodore moves into Hornet territory across the midfield stripe. Ball sitting at the 45-yard line directly in front of us here atop C.A. Douglas Field. 2:57 remaining here in the first half. They hand it off to the hammer, and Corey, he is hammering his way up the middle. Picks up about 7 yards, but there is a flag on the near side here in front of the Bobcats bench.
Looks like it's going to be against the Bobcats.
Gain of about 9 on the play.
And if you look at him lower the hammer there as he was able to finish that run on Terry Waters, great job of bringing up that replay by the truck. And that's one where he just hit the hit stick, but it's going to come back and it's all for naught because it's going to be a false start.
So 5 yards comes back against the Bobcats. That'll put them at they'll be placing it at their 50-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 15 for Theodore here. Muggy night here down in Bobcat land. The Future One's forecast said that humidity was going to be about 84%, Corey. I know my man Wade Ford typed up that graphic, but I swear it's got to be 95% humidity.
And the players, again, have done a great job through this conditioning, considered how short their summer and this opportunity here to play here in the early fall is gone.
Glad I brought my water with me because it is pretty warm and muggy. Nice little sit-up screen pass to Nyland Harper. He's going to get that first down, get all those yards back, and Theodore on the move once again.
And that's one of those situations to where the quarterback does a great job of putting nice touch on that football, and you have to look it in as Harper was able to do so. And it's amazing what one touch will do for you, getting that jet sweep earlier. Now he turns around and makes a great catch also offensively. So he's really gotten involved here on this drive for the Theodore Bobcats.
2:05 remaining here in the half. Theodore on the move, approaching the red zone. Ball on the 33-yard line. T.J. Richardson just to the right. They fake the jet sweep, handed off to Richardson. And he scampers his way close to another first down, maybe about 8 yards there, about 2 yards short. And Theodore getting close to the red zone.
What's amazing to me is the sustained drive by both of these teams.
Yes.
They've gone on 10, 11, 14, 15-yard drives throughout this first half of football here.
Baker out of timeouts. I believe Theodore has one timeout remaining as the Bobcats look back to the sideline. Going back to the well once again. That looks to be no gain on that play, Corey. It'll be third down.
Yeah, third down and 4 yards to go. The clock shows 1:10 remaining here in the first half of action in this huge 7A Region 1 opener for both of these teams.
Now, by no means I want to put the pressure on anyone, but the last 3 times Baker made the playoffs, they beat Theodore in the same year. That was 2012, 2014, and 2016. Right now they're down 1 point as we get close to halftime. Under 1 minute remaining in the contest. Quinney in the quarterback. He's the backup quarterback. Direct snap to him. He's going to get that first down. Got some Hornets in front of him. Into the red zone. Go the Bobcats. A flag on the play, so that'll stop the clock momentarily.
And one of the things that you definitely see is great blocking down the field. Don't know if a jersey was grabbed as he was running down the field, but Raheem Quinney just turning the corner and gets great push. I don't know, again, we're going to find out here shortly whether there was a hold or a jersey grab, as Sean Kelly is going to go and affirm with his other fellow officials on that far sideline.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything in the replay.
It's definitely a hold.
Holding, that is no wonder the hole was so big. So Quinney's got to come back. The Bobcats got to come back and do that one over.
It was the blocking down the field, and it's from the point of where the blocking down the field, he had already established that first down, and now it's a situation to where instead of being a first down and 10, you go ahead, the officials are going to mark the ball. Looks like the ball's going to be spotted right at the 11-yard line of the Hornets.
So it looks like to be first down and a yard, I believe, Corey. First and one.
There's a turnover. The official signaled a turnover, and then Hornets were able to come away with it. I didn't see the ball squared out late.
I never saw that. I thought there was a flag, but he said holding, but that was a turnover on the play, so it was Baker. No wonder. We thought it was first and one. It's first and 10 for Baker. Wow.
I definitely saw that it was first down for Theodore. I did not see the ball pop out late, but the officials, I guess when he signaled, he did see it, and that's going to take us into halftime after that turnover or change on downs.
Interesting first half. So the Hornets missed their extra point after being penalized, but Theodore cannot capitalize just outside of the red zone. They turned the ball over just before halftime. That was huge.
Yeah, you get down that deep into the red zone, and you want to try to put 7 on the board, and unfortunately you have a turnover.
Let's go down with Mike Herndon. He's got Theodore coach Eric Collier.
Hey, I'm here with Coach Collier. 14-13 lead at halftime, but obviously it could have been more. What happened on that last play?
I couldn't see it for sure. They said we fumbled football, so I guess we fumbled it. But end of the day, we're just not playing very well. We're not playing with a lot of emotion. We're not playing well. And they all
have a special event coming up.
Still good to have a 1-point lead going into halftime. The play-action pass has worked well for you tonight. What do you need to improve, you think, in the second half?
we got to be able to get off the field on defense. I mean, we ain't stopped them yet. They stopped themselves one time, but we ain't stopped them yet. So bottom line is, if we can't get off the field on defense, it's gonna be a long night for us.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back to you, Al.
Thank you, Mike. Good points right there, Coach Carr. You got to get your defense off the field, Corey.
Yeah, in that situation, he was not happy with they get all the way into the red zone and then turn the football over. But like you said, sustained drives by both of these teams have been established, and neither one of these teams have been able to stop one another.
All right, Theodore's on top 14-13. It's halftime, and we'll be back for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose. Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
My name is Harshini. I'm a junior at Davidson High School, and after graduation, I plan on pursuing a career in dermatology. Currently, I'm taking science classes such as AP Chemistry, Biology, and Human Anatomy, which will help me pursue my career. I feel as though Mobile County is preparing me for my career choice in that they provide rigorous classes that help me think further beyond just what I'm learning. I'm Harshini Cannon, a junior at Davidson High School, and I'm learning today so I can be a leader tomorrow.
When it comes to getting your child through school, at times it can be overwhelming.
What school to choose, what classes to take, how to apply for college.
To help answer these questions and more, we would like to invite you to join us on Parent Connect as we take an in-depth look at some of the issues and concerns you may have about your child's education.
So get connected with Parent Connect, weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Each month, more than 90 guns are reported stolen from unlocked vehicles, creating the potential of serious injury or death.
Lock it up.
Many violent acts and crimes are committed with stolen guns.
Lock it up.
According to ATF, stolen guns pose a substantial threat to public safety.
Lock it up.
Be responsible. Take time to record your handgun serial number and secure it from thieves. Lock it up.
Lock it up for me.
We welcome you back to C.A. Douglas Field for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top, 14-13. I'm Al Whedon. It is halftime. We got a lot of stuff planned for you at halftime. But up first, we're going to talk to Renee Phillips. Renee is joining us down on the sidelines. Typically, we'll have this interview side by side, but due to social distancing that's going on in the world that we're in, we have Renee on the sidelines. Renee, are you there? How you doing?
Hey, Al, I'm great.
There you are.
Doing all this social distancing, wearing our masks. I can see you up there.
Yeah, you are way down there. So, Renee, it's about that time. Today, I believe, is August the 28th. But Tuesday, September 1st is coming up. And, oh, my goodness, I'll be at the house with my twins. What can we expect for the first day of school, Renee?
That's right. It's not your typical first day of school. Tuesday, 4 days away. We're going to be doing it all remotely. So our students will log on. They will get live instruction from their classroom teachers, and they'll be able to chat with them and turn in their assignments. And it's going to be a great year, just a different kind of year.
Well, you're right about that, different. I was checking my email today, and I received an email from the superintendent, Mr. Threadgill, and he said, you know, do this, do this, do this. But the last point he sent, Schoology. Talk to me about Schoology.
That's right. So this year is going to be different from the spring. We're using a platform called Schoology. It's a one-stop shop. I think the parents are going to enjoy it. It's going to have your live lessons on there. You can message your teacher. You can chat with them. We'll be able to do small group instruction. And a cool feature is you as a parent, me as a parent, we're going to get a weekly email, and I actually got one already about my kids saying that they've logged on, and then it'll tell you how they're doing, what their grades are, and that sort of thing.
Well, I do agree. I've received emails from both my children's teachers. How much has gone into getting all this prepared? Because this is totally new. This is different from in the spring. We're talking 9 weeks right now.
It's been a big undertaking by the school system. Our teachers have been in session for since August 3rd. They've been working hard replanning all their lessons and learning this platform. We did a test this week with all of the teachers logging on at the same time. It worked fine. We've also been busy in our cafeteria preparing lunches and breakfast. You can go to the cafeteria on Mondays and pick up meals for the full week. So we've been running around, we've been getting everything ready, and I think we're prepared for a great day.
Yeah, you're right about that. I like the picking up the meals part, and the kids do too. What can parents do to really get ready for this and be prepared for this online learning, Renee?
So as you said, we sent out an email today, so check your email. It's got some access codes so that you could log on and have your own Schoology account so that you can keep up with your child. And I think the big thing is, like every other year, talk to your student, talk to them every day, say, hey, did you do your work? How are you doing? And if they're struggling, reach out to that teacher immediately so they can get help that they need.
All right, Renee, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know we'll be hearing and seeing more from you as all of this evolves, and you take care and you be safe. We'll be back with more. It is halftime for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
Hello, my name is Kyla Brown, and I am redefining ready. I'm taking AP and dual enrollment courses that will help me earn college credits while in high school. I am studying dental science that will assist me in my career choice of becoming a dentist. I am a Student Government Association representative and actively involved in other activities around my school and community. And this is how I am redefining ready.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. It is halftime, and Corey Theodore is on top 14-13. 7A Region 1 battle. So far, this is a good battle right here.
To a situation to where you're looking at a missed extra point due to an unsportsmanlike penalty called, and 14-13 is our score here at halftime. But we've really seen sustained drives by both teams, right. And Coach Collier wants to get that fixed. As again, the defense 1 week ago gave up 42 points to Saraland. A much better job tonight, but he definitely wants his defense to try to get the 3 and out to give his offense a better opportunity to drain that clock for themselves.
Yeah, you're right about that. So we're in 7A Region 1, and a lot of things has happened. This is one of those years where they call it reclassification. It is not just for one particular classification, Corey. It's from 1A all the way up to 7A, and we can hear the Theodore band getting ready. We're going to check in with them later on. But we want to take a look at some of these new reclassifications, because this affects our regions here in the area, and especially for a Mobile County Public School System. You have changes in 4A, 5A, 6A, and 7A.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the reclassification year. You're looking at some smaller schools that are now larger schools, but here's our new region alignment for 4A Region 1.
Yeah, you got Escambia County, W.S. Neal, and Williamson already there, but dropping down from 5A was Viger, and they were region champs last year in 5A, and moving up is Mobile Christian and St. Michael over there in Baldwin County. And Corey, a team that's been 5A for years, Jackson, that rivalry still continues with Jackson and Viger, but Mobile Christian, they've been in the championship game a couple times the past couple years.
Yeah, I mean, but the biggest surprise is Viger dropping down to 4A, and Williamson, that's their comfortable home. That's where they've been for a little bit. And Mobile Christian, again, it's a situation that Mobile Christian is going to create some new rivalries. Really, all these teams in this region have an opportunity to get some new rivalries established.
All right, let's flip it up to 5A Region 1, because that's got a new look to it as well. So the stalwarts, Faith Academy, LaFleur, and Satsuma are there. Dropping down is BC Rain. Also dropping down is St. Paul's. That's where they have typically played. We know that they went up to competitive balance. And speaking of competitive balance, Corey, the 3-time defending 4A champ and 34-game win streak UMS Wright Bulldogs enter 5A Region 1 in their first year of varsity ball. Alberta as well. This is an interesting region right here.
It really is, and you look at the situation with LaFleur staying put and St. Paul's dropping from 6A to 5A, and they're in a situation to where now they get to renew their rivalry with UMS Wright, but BC Rain and LaFleur are very comfortable in 5A Region 1.
All right, that is 5A Region 1. Let's take it down to the field and listen to the Bobcat Band for a moment. Then we'll come back and give you 6A and 7A Region 1.
You take the microphone out to the 50-yard line. They're going to use it. Okay. Why didn't you stand there and hold it? Huh? Why didn't you stand there and hold it? Yeah, that's what you're saying. I don't think you have to go to the 50.
Fans, please give another round of applause for the Theodore High School Marching Bobcat Band. This halftime show was sponsored by Tim White of State Farm.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and come back and give you the region look for 7A Region 1 and 6A Region 1. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
I'm Bailey Buck. I attend MGM High School. Here I'm pursuing my career in the dental industry. I'm currently enrolled in honors classes that will help prepare me for my future. My name is Bailey Buck. I am preparing for tomorrow today.
Hello, I'm Renee Phillips, your host of Homeroom. Will you join us as we talk with the students, teachers, and staff about all of the great things happening in our schools?
That's right, Renee. Not only are we here to keep you informed about the great things happening in our schools, but to also keep you updated on safety issues.
Our show, Safe Schools, looks at ways to keep your child and our students safe.
Not only are we looking at ways to keep your child and our students safe, but to keep you informed on how to connect with us.
Manténgase informado aquí en Conexión a Padres.
And we also score big from pre-K to high school with MCPSS Athletics.
And then Inside Education puts it all together for you, showing you the ins and outs about news and events taking place across the Mobile County Public School District. We do this to keep you informed.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
You are watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top 14-13 here at C.A. Douglas Field. Al Weed and Corley Banner. On the sidelines, we have Mike Herndon, one of our camera guys right there, doing a great job. And, Corey, let's take a look. Let's continue on with our look at these new regions we have. We looked at 4A. We looked at 5A. There's some changes also in 6A and 7A here in our area.
Absolutely, and when you start looking at the region changes, again, with the big dogs, I mean, 6A, the biggest change to me is Daphne leaving and moving to 7A, and you're looking at McGill-Tulane leaving 7A and moving to 6A.
Yeah, that is huge. McGill-Tulane dropping down to 6A Region 1, a team that had been in the championship games the past couple of years, back to back, even won a championship back a couple years ago. And Citronelle 6A Region 1. Actually, Citronelle is already in 6A. The only change there is McGill-Tulane dropped down. Everyone else stays the same. Baldwin County, Blount, Gulf Shores, Robertsdale, Saraland, and Spanish Fort. Now let's take it up to 7A Region 1, and you just talked about it. The one change there is Daphne moving into 7A Region 1. And Corey, last night, you and I both got a chance to look at them. They picked up their first 7A Region 1 win over Davidson last night.
Yeah, that's why this 7A Region 1 matchup here early is so important, because anytime you're able to get a game in, we've seen across the state of Alabama games canceled due to COVID situations. And as we continue to go on week for week, you'll get out of these non-region games and start getting into these region games. And you don't want to afford to take a forfeit moving forward due to the COVID pandemic. And that's why these two teams are talking about their strategies at halftime. And that's why we have such a great contest here at C.A. Douglas Field here at Theodore, Alabama.
About 5 minutes remaining here in halftime. That's a look at the different regions. Now we have the polls that came down from the state. Last week, Corey, we didn't have a ball game, so we couldn't talk about the preseason poll. But there is a poll that came out this past week. Some movements going on from the Alabama Sports Writers Association. So if the guys in the truck can get that one up, we can start at 4A and work our way up into to see what's going on with the polls. Not too many upsets last week, but we know we didn't have a game.
Yeah, it's a situation where you see a lot of teams that got benefited by not even playing. They moved up in the polls. Nobody really moved out of the polls by not playing a football game. And you're looking at Viger coming in, especially 4A Region 1, new opponents. I know they were a top 3 team with a new head football coach at Viger, so we're excited this season to hopefully see the Wolfpack be able to play, and we're able to see what they're able to do.
All right, there it is, a 4A poll, Alabama Sports Writers Association. Corey, you just talked about it. American Christian maintains their preseason ranking. They're the number 1 team in 4A, as does the Viger Wolves at the number 3 spot, and they've yet to play a game, as you just talked about it, because the game last week against Blount right now will count as a forfeit win. We know at the end of the year, all those forfeits will be decided by the AHSAA. They're on a bye this week, but they're still ranked at number 3. The Wolves are definitely being respected by the state sports writers. The Williamson Lions cracked the top 10, number 10, with an overtime win last week. Jackson and Mobile Christian, we just talked about them, team in 4A Region 1, just on the outside looking in, each picking up 3 votes. Let's flip it over to the 5A poll. Over in 5A, the top of the poll picks up where the season ended last year. Central Clay County and Pleasant Grove met in the championship game. Central Clay won and are still number 1, with Pleasant Grove looking up for number 2 spot. Right behind them at 3 is St. Paul's. We just talked about them in the region. And last year's 4A champs, UMS Wright, still holding the state's longest winning streak at 34 games, ranked in the middle of the pack at number 5. And look at the Rams of Faith Academy, Corey, sitting at number 6, their highest ever ranking in the history of the program. So the football whisperer Jack French just keeps it going for Faith Academy.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Faith Academy, UMS Wright, and St. Paul's, all in a situation to where at 5A, you have Saraland trying to creep into the polls, but I think it's a situation to where as this season goes on, you have St. Paul's battling Spanish Fort right now, and you don't know how that's going to wind up. UMS Wright is playing Mobile Christian, and that's going to be a great game tonight also. But again, the preseason rankings, once they shake themselves out, I think they're going to look totally different from the beginning to the end.
Let's flip it up to 6A. Moving on to 6A, defending champs Oxford dropped to number 2 after loss last week, so Mountain Brook moves into the top spot. Even though they haven't played a game yet and won't play their first one until next Friday, look at the Blount Leopards sitting at number 3, also sitting at number 3. Now, that's really some respect for a team. Former 7A powerhouse McGill-Tulane and newcomer to 6A enters the poll midway at number 5. Saraland cracks the top 10 at number 10 with their win over Theodore last week, and Spanish Fort is just outside the poll with 6 votes. Moving on to 7A. In 7A, the Thompson Warriors hold on to the top spot. Perennial 7A powerhouse Hoover is in at number 3, with the Red Devils of Central Phoenix City coming in at number 4. The Fairhope Pirates slide in number 6 with an impressive win over Spanish Fort last week, and 7A newcomer Daphne picks up 16 votes, and the Theodore Bobcats garner 3. So there's a look at the 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A Alabama Sports Writers Association polls throughout the state, Corey.
And again, it goes from a preseason poll in which our graphics show and are highlighted with the yellow being the local teams in Mobile and Baldwin County. After week 0 of play, a little bit of changes amongst 4A, 5A, 6A, and 7A polls. But important here, 7A Region 1 matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Both of these teams don't want to start 0-2. One of them here, after these next 24 minutes of football, will start the season 0-2.
Yeah, I talked about it at the top of the show. It's been 19 years since Theodore went 0-2, and for Baker, it's been a decade. 2010, they started off the season 0-2. They do not want to do that. All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to have the third quarter kickoff, maybe check in with Mike Herndon. Also, I think you got some information from Mr. Robert Latner for some stats, cool?
Exactly. Look forward to the second half of action coming up.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose. Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
At any given time, trauma can happen.
And how we deal with it. And how we make peace with it.
Starts with me.
With Project Thrive, I'm taking the pledge.
I pledge to believe and support others experiencing trauma.
Will you join Project Thrive and its team of partners who are working together to address issues of trauma? Take the pledge, take a stand, and let's make Mobile a trauma-informed community.
My name is Harshini. I'm a junior at Davidson High School, and after graduation, I plan on pursuing a career in dermatology. Currently, I'm taking science classes such as AP Chemistry, Biology, and Human Anatomy, which will help me pursue my career. I feel as though Mobile County is preparing me for my career choice in that they provide rigorous classes that help me think further beyond just what I'm learning. I'm Harshini Cannon, a junior at Davidson High School, and I'm learning today so I can be a leader tomorrow.
We welcome you back to C.A. Douglas Field. Halftime's almost over. Theodore on top 14-13. Take a look at some of those first half stat numbers you got there, Mr. LeBounty.
Yeah, you're looking at the passing numbers for Landon Hurtrider. He's 3 out of 5 for 84 yards, and Landon Larry 6 out of 7 for 92 yards and 1 touchdown. The running back Jay Sean McMillan for Baker has 12 rushes for 57 yards. Raheem Quinney, he has 1 rush for 16 yards. TJ Richardson has been the workhorse for the Theodore Bobcats, rushing 9 times for 38 yards. You're looking at penalty yards, and penalty yards have been 2 penalties for Theodore, 10 yards, 4 penalties for 31 yards for Baker. And again, 13-14 our score. The difference is a missed extra point that was called after a touchdown An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty is the difference in this game right here. But 24 minutes, buckle up. Game number 1 of the MCPSS Television Network 2020 football season.
There's our second half kickoff from Miguel Frias. LaDarian Craig takes it off the turf, and boy, does he's moving. He had one guy to beat, and it was Frias, and I can see him backing up, Corey. So great field position here for Baker as they come out in the second half taking the ball. And for those of you who thought I was kidding about the humidity, not only are our glasses fogging up, Corey, the entire press box was fogged up during halftime. One of the coaches was up there cleaning it, getting the fog off, man.
Yeah, it's very humid, and we'll see what team is able to finish. As you look at my checklist for the first half, and Baker had to limit explosive plays, and they were somewhat able to do so. They had to create some turnovers and control the Bobcat beef up front. Weren't able to do that, and Theodore had to sustain the football, and were able to do that also.
Speaking of fogging up, my binoculars even fogged up as well. I can see him hand it off to Jay-Sean McMillan. It's a little slippery out there. He may have taken a loss on that, or did he get a yard, Corey?
Right at the line of scrimmage, really no gain on the play, and it's going to bring up second down and 10 yards to go for the Hornets.
I'm going to go with what you said, 2nd and 10 for Baker here. Ball sitting right about the 35.5-yard line. I think I'll put the binoculars back down, Corey. That wasn't helping at all.
A little bit foggy, but you can see the great camera shot of the mud on the uniforms of all these teams, and the grass really cut up here as we have 24 minutes left to play.
Landon Larry gets that one complete. Ooh, and what a jarring hit. No flags come in. As Jamari Hawkins say, I brought it down, but he took a shot at the end.
Yeah, nice little truck stick mashed on the button by Jamari Hawkins, and you look at him, you're already slipping on the turf, but as he was going down, he took a pop right underneath the chin, but he was able to hold on to the football, and again, 3rd down and 1 yard to go as Baker gets in that muddle huddle. You never know after they're going to come out of it, whether they're going to on the Wildcat or whether they're going to go ahead and go with the quick snap.
3rd and short here for the Hornets. They're going to hand it off to the up guy. He's going to pick up maybe just enough, Deontay Smith. And the chain gang is moving, so that's a 1st down for the Hornets.
And that's a great way to open up here in the second half. You continue to run the clock, but like Coach Collier talked to Mike Herndon going into halftime, you must go ahead and get off of the field. Money down is 3rd down for all teams, and you cannot let this Baker Hornet team sustain drives if you're the Bobcats.
1st and 10 for Baker. Someone brought the cowbell with them tonight, Corey, right down in front of us. And right in front of the Bobcat defense, there he is, Jay-Sean McMillan, the senior running back for the Hornets, picks up about 7 on that carry. They're right down in front of us. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Stopped on the play by the outside linebacker, Brandon Jones. He's a junior, came in with 2 solo tackles 1 week ago, and you know, it's a situation to where the Hornets right now have a 3-minute sustained drive starting here in the second half of action.
There's that muddle huddle again, as you called it. Javon Williams here to the near side. Larry under center. And they hand it off to Jay-Sean McMillan. Big hole up the middle. He goes. 1st down for the Hornets into Bobcat territory. That ball is going to be placed at the 35-yard line.
You look at how hard Jay-Sean McMillan ran on that play. He exploded into that hole, and again, the Bobcats play that 3-4 defense. That means the offensive line got a great push up front and were able to get into that 2nd level.
Sustained drives has been what this ball game has been about, as you mentioned during halftime. Score only 14-13. Larry looks to pitch, but keeps it on the read option. Picks up maybe 4. We'll give him credit. And a laid flag comes in, Corey LeBounty.
And he went feet first, sliding into the defense, but it definitely was a dead ball personal foul on the play.
Looks like Baker is going to immediately go to the Wildcat after this flag is sorted out because Larry went out of the ball game.
And again, he did slide feet first, so it looks like it's going to be against the Bobcats.
Right. He gave himself up, so you can't go down and hit me. That's a personal foul.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't mean to cut Sean Kelly off there, Corey, but it's personal foul, and we know that's 15 yards. And you know what that means. Baker is now inside the red zone, and they're ready to run, if you want to call it the McMillan Wildcat, because he's out there ready for it.
But the thing with McMillan running the Wildcat, he's done so right up the middle. I mean, it goes right up the gut. The big offensive line of Mateo Guerra and Torben Lindmark doing a great job of getting pushed. Sam Strickland making sure that Jayshon McMillan does receive that snap, and that's the most important part of a new quarterback coming in is getting the snap, and he's going to run it right up the middle as he cuts back again. Picks up another Hornet first down, going to be right at the sticks. I think he's going to have enough to get this first down for Baker, and looks like now it'll be a first down and goal to go for the Hornets.
That is looking to be the case. The chain gang about to drop the chain, I believe, Corey, and there it is, first and goal for the Hornets. The Wildcat continues. McMillan fakes it, keeps it, picks up a couple, getting closer, trying to hit pay dirt. 8 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. We're at C.A. Douglas Field. Al Whedon, Corley Bounty, covering sidelines. New guy on the team, Mike Herndon. Well, might be new to you, but not new to us. He's been working behind the scenes for a couple of years for the school system, so we appreciate him stepping up and hanging out with us this season. Our first game of the season, as Corley Bounty mentioned a little while ago. Second and goal for the Hornets.
Going right back to where they've had that money on the left side, and he goes and takes a step in.
And he hits pay dirt, Corey. That's a touchdown for Jayshon McMillan.
A lot of success on the first touchdown drive for the Hornets with him going right up the gut. And on that drive, he's able to do the same thing. And just like that, the Baker Hornets come out of the locker room and have a 5.5-minute drive, Al. That's exactly what head coach Steve Norman wanted, and the point after is huge right here for the Hornets.
Peyton Engel on to kick. Baker not going for two to pick up that point they missed on their previous extra point. And Engel nails that one right toward the Bobcat Fieldhouse. So Baker on top 20-14 here in the third quarter. Great opening drive for the Hornets.
And it was done and sustained by the big offensive line up front with the big push. And you look at McMillan getting to the line of scrimmage and extending himself. You see 4 or 5 red jerseys there, but he's able to bowl over them, and he's able to score another Hornet touchdown.
Just like Eric Collier said, talking to Mike Herndon, got to get the defense off the field, got to get them off. Thanks to Firehouse Subs, they're keeping us on the field and keeping us well fed, Corey. Big ups to Jim and Susie Sherman at the Grelot Road location. We want to thank them for joining back again with us again this season for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. And also Future Ones providing us with the gear. Looking to get some team apparel or equipment, reach out to Future Ones. Wear the future with Future Ones. So interesting, Baker did not go for two, Corey. They simply went for the extra point. I guess Coach Norman looked at his little cheat sheet the coaches have and said maybe it's too early to try to go chase some points right now.
You didn't want to chase those points. You wanted to go ahead and put the for sure thing on the board. And really the pressure's back on Theodore now to where if they do score a touchdown, they have to make their point after in order to tie this game. But special teams play has not really been a difference besides the one extra missed point here in this tonight's contest.
Nice booming kick from the Hornets right there. And coming up for Theodore, getting that ball just past the 22-yard line, Jamil Richardson.
Bobcats will take up first and 10 on the 21-yard line. Return was made by Donnell Thomas.
First and 10 here for the Hornets. Ball on the 21-yard line.
And Theodore, it's going to be important for them to, on this first offensive possession, for them to go ahead and offensive coordinator Justin Ridgway to get a drive sustained.
Hurtrider hands that ball off to T.J. Richardson. He rips through the Baker Hornet defensive line into the backfield and secondary. Big 9-yard gain for T.J. Richardson. Both of these teams definitely having ball control and keeping it on the ground consistently. We have seen some firepower through the air, but the majority of the time it has been running the rock. Richardson moves over just to the right of Hurtrider. They give it back to him. Boy, look at that cut, Corey LeBounty. Look at him move. First down past the midfield stripe as LaDarren Craig and another Hornet brings him down at the 48-yard line of Baker.
And that's a great job of being fresh coming out of the locker room as Richardson runs extremely hard, takes about 3 Baker defenders with him on that run. You look at this replay, he cuts back on this very wet field, make sure he takes care of the ball high and tight to his chest, and he goes ahead and carries 3 Baker defenders along with him and picks up a first down.
They're going to go back to the well again, coming around the edge on the near side. Oh, that could be a horse collar, and it is. Terry Kirksey got the hand up a little too high on the Theodore running back there.
And that's an easy call. And, you know, the quarterback fans who want to be referees, and they're able to go ahead and throw their flag on the field also because that one's easy to see.
Braden Jenkins
foul.
on the run there.
Horse collar on the defense. Be a 15-yard penalty.
Our first time calling Jenkins' name tonight. Here's the replay. Not a good time for that to happen.
Fresh back coming into the game, but you take a 4-yard gain and turn it into a 19-yard gain for the Bobcats.
Ball placed squarely on the 30-yard line for Theodore. Great field position here for the Bobcats. Fresh legs of Jenkins. They bump into each other. Did Hurtrider land back on it? We know the pigskin has been slippery tonight.
Well, I tell you what,
wow.
Al, I've seen some great bounces go the way of the Theodore Bobcats this evening, and that's a situation where that ball was on the turf for close to 3 seconds before Hurtrider was able to come away with it. 1,001, 1,002, and then right at 1,003, he's able to jump onto that football and secure possession of it to save that possession.
Bobcats lose about 5 yards on that one. Play action on Richardson. They get it out to the hammer, Chandler Randall. He gets it about close to the original line of scrimmage, maybe about a 4-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and about 11 here for Theodore.
Official timeout. That's going to be our heat-related timeout, Al.
And you know what that means. It's time for the Game of the Week Brain Buster, Corey. Now, last season we wrapped it up. I did not give you a multiple choice, Corey, as we ended the season last year. But I felt good. We're going to start this season with a multiple choice for you with the Game of the Week Brain Buster. So, are you ready for it, Corey?
I'm ready, brother. Let's fire away, Al.
All right, we'll get the guys in the truck to pull it up for us here at this heat timeout. I know you love those multiple choice questions, Corey.
I really do.
All right, here you go, Corey LeBounty. Every overtime game that Baker and Theodore has played in was against a region opponent, except for one. Name that opponent. Is it Fairhope, Prattville, Citronelle, or Baldwin County? Those are your options, Corey. We'll give you the answer at the end of the 3rd quarter. Robert Latner thinks he has it. I'm going to let Mr. Latner know. Sometimes Corey doesn't listen to the stat guys. So you think about that one, Corey, but Mr. Latner, I'm letting you know, sometimes he does not listen to the stat guys. So there's your brain buster, Corey. Multiple choice. I made it easy on the first game of the season for you.
That's a tough question, Al.
And a tough circumstance the Bobcats are in here, Corey. They were sitting real good. Went backwards on a bobbled snap, and it is 3rd and 12, trying to keep this drive alive at 5:36 in the 3rd quarter. Nyland Harper goes into motion at the top of the screen as Hurtrider in the offense looks to the sideline. Play action once again. They've been running well with that one tonight, and they get that completed. Raheem Quinney.
And last week he had 6 receptions for 105 yards, and he's an impact player in tonight's game, and he can make his presence felt as he's a dual athlete for the Bobcats. And you hear the cowbells ringing, and it's going to be first down and 10 yards, a fresh set of downs for the Bobcats, and they're able to sustain drives now.
Bobcats back into the red zone. Their last drive, some kind of way, I'm like Coach Collier right before halftime. They had a mysterious fumble. We thought it was a penalty, but there was a turnover. And boy, Hurtrider holds on to it as he's brought down and sacked. Let's see where they spot this one at. They're going to take a loss of about 2 or 3 yards. It'll be second and about 12 as the Hornets swarmed on him.
Well, we saw him run a beautiful play-action pass on the opening drive to put the opening points on the football field tonight for the Theodore Bobcats. Let's see if he goes back to that play action, is able to find Malik Kennedy in the back of the end zone or Raheem Quinney.
2 receivers to the top. They hand it off to Richardson. He cuts through behind the guard and brought down. Looks like Ladarian Craig gets in on that tackle. That's going to take Theodore to 3rd and long. They're going backwards now, Corey.
Yeah, you're not getting that type of push that you want, and you're on that right hash, which is closest to Baker's bench, to where you know the footing. Again, it's the muddiest place on the football field. Is the numbers on the right hash or the visitor sidelines. You can't even really see the numbers on the field now, but if you look at Theodore's sideline, you're able to see them. But a huge set of down right here for the Theodore Bobcats.
Trips to the bottom of the screen. Calvin Irving back there, strong safety, trying to knock down whatever heads his way, and they're going to the top corner. Beautiful pass. Was he out of bounds?
Yes,
he was. Ran out of real estate from Malik Kennedy. They've struck with him. I'm sorry, that's Raheem Quinney. They struck with Malik Kennedy in that back corner in the first quarter, but ran out of real estate, and a lot of the Bobcat fans do not realize it.
Yeah, they struck up the band. It was a touchdown reception, caught, but out of bounds. The official right there on top of it, and he called it very quickly that it would be out of bounds, but a great catch nonetheless. But more importantly, Al, you're looking at 4th down and about 15 yards to go for the Theodore Bobcats, and you had success trying to go on that play. You're not going to be able to go back to that play, but look for something right up the seam if a receiver runs a great route.
Same formation once again for the Bobcats, 3 at the bottom, 1 at the top. Hurtrider, very composed, does connect, and no, that ball is dropped. Ladarian Craig all over Raheem Quinney, ball over on downs. Theodore kind of had a choice, Corey. They could go for it or punt it. You're kind of in no man's land. You're too far to kick it for Miguel Frias.
Yeah, that's what you wanted to do, though. You wanted to throw the football to the middle of the field and throw it to your best athlete, as well as Quinney was not able to come away with it. Turnover on downs, 1st and 10 Hornets, as they still lead this football game 20-14.
Baker came out of the halftime locker room, put together a 5-minute drive, got a touchdown. That was Theodore's first possession of the 3rd quarter. And if Baker can hold the ball like they did at the start of the 3rd, Theodore won't get it back in this quarter. Jet sweep to Ja'Shawn McMillan, and boy, he runs into a wall of Bobcats there. Maybe a 1-yard gain.
Absolutely. You just stood him straight up on that situation. He was able to find a yard on the play, and now you have an injury on the play, and that could be critical for the Baker Hornets, especially if it is McMillan's ankle on the play.
He's reaching for it, and he is writhing in pain. Or it could be, no, not the cramp score. I believe that is the ankle there.
You know, that 10-play, 59-yard drive came away with nothing for the Theodore Bobcats, but you hope that McMillan, they're massaging that calf, so it may very well be a Charlie horse in this situation.
Trainers out there looking at McMillan, so they get him up. Going to get assisted off of the field. That's always a good sign when you can kind of walk off on your own power, but that is the powerhouse workhorse for the Hornets.
Yeah, you wonder now who the Baker offense tries to turn to. They've been able to throw the ball to Javon Williams and Jamari Hawkins on the outside. Terry Waters has also got involved, but with 3:15 remaining here in the third quarter, you know, you get him hydrated. You try to set him out as long as you can, buy as much time. The good thing for the Baker Hornets is with him going out, they have the lead at this point in time in the football game, so you're not having to play catch up. But as my old man, Mr. Slade, used to stay at Lad Peoples Stadium, get him some pickle juice in this situation to where hopefully those cramps will work themselves out.
Second down and about 9 here for the Hornets. They hand it off to Jamari Hawkins, who moves over to the running back position. He picks up a couple, maybe 3 or 4. It'll be 3rd and about 5 for the Baker offense.
And as I stated, the biggest thing is you have the lead if you're the Baker Hornets to where you can get McMillan attended to by those trainers on the sidelines. But now the biggest thing for Baker is on this 3rd down and 5 yards to go, hopefully you're able to pick up this 1st down and continue to buy time for your main man, Jashawn McMillan, who's on the sidelines.
Darian Craig checks in for the Hornets offense. In the backfield, you have Deontay Smith. He's 2nd on the depth chart. And Coach Norman decides to call a timeout. Offense kind of looked a little discombobulated there, Corey, trying to get things together. So Baker's going to take a timeout right here. Big decision, 3rd and 5, ball sitting on the 30-yard line.
And that's huge. I mean, you know, when you come out of this timeout, you know what's at stake.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back for more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well-balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
From birth up until school age, you know, he was a fast developer, fast learner. He was always a happy person. Every time you seen him, he had a smile on his face. The day I lost my son, I got that phone call. It was like my whole world just stopped. All I wanted to do was see my son, and I wasn't able to see my son until I had to go to the funeral homes. I think that was one of the hardest things that a parent has to do.
Landon Larry completes that pass across the middle, and that is going to not be enough. Terry Waters does not get the 1st down, so it'll be 4th down for Baker here.
And that's exactly what you want if you're defensive coordinator in this situation. Randy Larson, you wanted your team to come out and special teams now. Theodore's going to have 2 guys back coming off of this punt. We haven't really seen an opportunity for a punt to be fielded and returned tonight, so we'll see if special teams and see if Theodore can get right back into great field position.
Raheem Quinney back there to receive this Hunter Eubanks punt. Oh, my goodness, Corey, that's the 60-degree lob wedge, straight up and straight down, but it did a little bounce. Maybe, wow, that ball is going to be placed at the 45-yard line. That may have been a net, maybe 10 or 15-yard punt, Corey.
At least the ball did go end over end and have an opportunity to roll over and forward instead of backwards. But great field position again for the Theodore Bobcats with 1:25 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. They're going to take over with the football at the Hornets' 45-yard line.
Don't forget, coming up between the 3rd and 4th quarter, we'll reveal the answer of our Game of the Week Brain Buster. I know Corey LeBound has been over there thinking about it. It's a multiple choice, one of his favorites. And just like that, Theodore back on the field. 1:25 remains here in 3rd quarter. Pitch out to T.J. Richardson. Great block on the edge at the bottom of the screen here. That's going to be enough for a 1st down.
And that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see forward progress and great offensive line blocking as T.J. Richardson's had an opportunity here. The last drive, it stalled for the Bobcats right inside the 30-yard line and pick up a fresh set of downs now with 1:10 remaining here in the third quarter.
Direct snap, keeper on that little read option. And look at Hurtrider. He's got some legs on him, Corey. Gets the first down, and the Theodore Bobcats back into the red zone.
He's going to get inside the 19-yard line, and it's a great design. You look at the big fellas pulling, and Hurtrider's going to put it underneath his left arm, cut back, and great vision by the quarterback to pick up an additional 10 yards for Theodore as we're under a minute to play here in the third quarter.
Pitch out to Richardson. Great block by the hammer right there, Chandler Randall, as Richardson falls forward for about 3 yards as they get close to the 15-yard line. 2nd and 8 is what the PA announcer says here at C.A. Douglas Field.
Impact player Trey Phalo on the stop. The 5'10", 217-pound senior had 6 solo tackles last week and 1 sack.
Did Theodore draw him off? That looks to be the case. Possible offsides coming up against Baker.
Encroachment on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So that'll make it 2nd and 3 for the Theodore Bobcats. Trying to get into the end zone.
2nd and 2 for the Bobcats.
Landon Hurtrider showing great composure here tonight. The pigskin has been slippery. A few have gotten away, but a few of them have bounced favorably their way. Looks to the sideline to get the call, Corey. He doesn't even have to hike this one. We're under 10 seconds remaining on the game clock.
We're going to go and start the fourth quarter of play with the Theodore Bobcats threatening here at C.A. Douglas Field.
Well, they get it off, and there's the horn go, and I think that was a wasted play. The young man could have just held on.
Let me tell you what that situation was. You lull the Baker defense to sleep thinking that you're going to end the quarter, and you pull a Dan Marino, and all of a sudden you complete that pass, and now Baker's looking around. But luckily for the Hornets, they're still up by 6 points here, leading 20-14.
It's going to be 3rd and short when Theodore resumes. All right, Corey, it's time to reveal the answer. Our game of the week, Brain Buster. We put it out there for you as Baker's on top 20-14. We got to get this answer for you as we head into our last quarter of play here at C.A. Douglas Field. I know you love those multiple choices, so I thought about you as we started the season. So here's the question as it comes in, the game of the week, Brain Buster. Every overtime game that Baker and Theodore has played in was against a region opponent, except for one. Name that opponent. Was it Fairhope, Prattville, Citronelle, or Baldwin County? Corley Bounty, who do you think it is?
Let's say Prattville, Al.
You're going to go with Prattville. You like C because C is for Corey, and we'll get the guys in the truck to reveal the answer. And that is correct. It is Prattville. Baker lost to them in 2014, and Theodore lost to them last year, Corey, in the first round of the playoffs. And guess what? That was a playoff game for Baker as well.
So I'm 1 for 1 on this early season.
1 for 1, Corey.
All right, we'll take it. We'll definitely take it.
And I think Mr. Ladner had that one correct as well. He gave a little fist pump. Let's go down to Mike Herner. He's got an injury update for us.
Hey, no update on exactly what the injury was, but McMillan was up on the sideline stretching it out, so we'll see if he's able to come back here in the next possession.
All right, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Big play here. They give it to Richardson. He follows behind the right guard, and he is into the 5-yard line. That's a first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Theodore coming up.
And that's exactly what you want to do. Again, this has been a long drive. It's sustained by the Bobcats. They're starting to get that push. And I said at the beginning of the game, what was a key on my Corey's checklist for Theodore to finish strong? Well, not only do they want to start this fourth quarter off strong, they want to finish this game strong. And what better way to do than to knock on the door and get it answered with 6 on the scoreboard?
1st and goal for Theodore. Richardson in the backfield. Hurtrider asking him, line up right there. They give it back to him again, and he hits pay dirt. 5-yard touchdown for T.J. Richardson, and the Bobcats get 6.
Great job by the offensive line on that entire drive, and that's exactly what Eric Collier and how he wanted his offense to respond after the last drive died inside the 30-yard line. They made sure on that drive, offensive coordinator dialed up the right plays. The guys did a great job of blocking the entire series. Time of possession is probably close to even by both of these teams, but point after can make the difference in this game.
Free-ass kick is up, and it is good. Theodore on top 21-20. Don't move. We're just starting the fourth quarter. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Hello, I'm Renee Phillips, your host of Homeroom. Will you join us as we talk with the students, teachers, and staff about all of the great things happening in our schools?
That's right, Renee. Not only are we here to keep you informed about the great things happening in our schools, but to also keep you updated on safety issues.
Our show, Safe Schools, looks at ways to keep your child and our students safe.
Not only are we looking at ways to keep your child and our students safe, but to keep you informed on how to connect with us.
Manténgase informado aquí en Conexión a Padres.
And we also score big from pre-K to high school with MCPSS Athletics.
And then Inside Education puts it all together for you, showing you the ins and outs about news and events taking place across the Mobile County Public School District. We do this to keep you informed.
Welcome back to C.A. Douglas Field. Theodore has recaptured the lead 21-20 over 7A Region 1 opponent Baker. This is a huge game tonight. One of these teams will go home 0-2, not looking to start the season off like that.
6 plays, 45 yards for the Theodore Bobcats as they were able to cash in, and now they're leading by 1 point in this opening 7A Region 1 contest.
Great game tonight, Corey. Great game. I'm enjoying it.
And the crowd is making a difference for this Bobcats team as well. And I know the fans have been doing a great job of social distancing and masking up through tonight's contest. And when you do that correctly, you'll allow great football to be seen as evident here at C.A. Douglas Field.
On the kicking team, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Speaking of C.A. Douglas Field, Corey, it's reminiscent of my experience last night at Ladd Peebles as I watched Daphne and Davidson. You could look at the benches as they're marked off with tape, and they don't want the spectators sitting on benches that have the tape marked off, and you sit in between with your family or your close friends. So I see a lot of social distancing going on here at the stadium.
Outstanding job by this administration and still by this coaching staff. I mentioned to you prior to the game, I saw the coaching staff early this morning marking off this field. Right. And with all this mud and rain, you can't tell how hard they work, but great job by this coaching staff making sure that the football players go ahead and do what they have to do to get to this point in time in the season, because there was a point to where we weren't sure if we'd even have football, but as long as we continue to adhere to the CDC guidelines and follow them, we'll be just fine and be able to watch great high school football.
Kick from free-ass taken by one of the up guys right there. Jackson Irby, he feels it. From that penalty, that's going to be great field position for Baker here. Looks like they'll get the ball at about the 30-yard line. Maybe the 31 is where they're going to place it. Down 1 point. That 1 point difference is a missed extra point after a penalty was marked off for unnecessary unsportsmanlike play after a touchdown was scored. So Coach Collier said, I'll take the yards right now. And it made a difference. He's up 1 point, Corey.
Special teams are special for a reason, Al.
Ja'Shawn McMillan back in the ball game. Almost fumbled the ball. You could see it jostling around as he was brought down.
But he's definitely tiptoeing in the back there. You can tell that cramp is still affecting him tremendously as Baker had success running him at the Wildcat quarterback position.
Right.
At this point in the contest, with 11 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter, because he's not fresh and because he's cramping, you can't put him and leave him on the field. You have to spot play him in this situation.
Deontay Smith in the backfield right now. Jamari Hawkins up top. And Jackson Irby in the slot for the Hornets. Corey, I've been noticing, I wonder if the play clock is inoperable. Every time I look over there, it says 25 seconds.
That's one of the things that Dave Schultz from WNSP was talking to us about at halftime.
Snap, had movement on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty for second down.
Now, we've yet to see a delay of game penalty yet, but also I don't recall head official Sean Kelly stating that the game clock was inoperable and they will be keeping time on the field.
And he never made that public announcement, but at the same time, the 25-second clock that is in the Theodore end zone where their field house is located is not running, but the game clock is, so it's evidently being taken on the field.
Empty set for the Hornets, 2nd and long. Right up the seam, he has a man, cannot connect with Williams, no flag. It looked as if maybe that contact was right when the ball arrived, but the officials did not throw a flag.
One of those bang-bang plays that's going to favor Theodore as we take a look at the instant replay. Good job of Landon Larry throwing it right down the seam, and unfortunately for the Hornets, Javen Williams was not able to come away with it.
Jamel Richardson all over him. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. That was a guy who's going to be all over the field for the Bobcats defense. 3rd and long for the Hornets. Deontay Smith right next to Landon Larry. They set the screen up, and it does not work. That pass is incomplete to Terry Waters. They had it set up, Corey, but the ball's a bit high. Some pressure was on Larry.
Yeah, they tried to set up the bubble screen in that situation as he was going to come back, and just the timing wasn't exactly right. And now you look at where the ball is located. Baker is going to hopefully flip the field in this situation as they'll be punting from their own 25-yard line. If they can get that ball to go end over end, it really won't bounce because the field is so wet, but there's going to be a timeout called by Theodore as they are struggling to get the correct personnel in the game.
10 minutes remains here in the contest with Theodore on top, 21-20. Talked to Coach Collier earlier this week on his team's defensive performance last week. He said it did not sit too well. We got some young kids. They got to grow up. Now, his defense coordinator, you talked about at the top of the broadcast, Randy Larson, has come back home to be defense coordinator after going to Saraland and Satsuma. So Coach Larson only had 3 months with the guys, Corey, but you know there wasn't much summer practice or summer weight training going on. So Coach Collier knows it's going to take some time. He said it may start clicking week 3 or week 4, but you could see that tonight as they've given up some long drives to the Hornets offense.
And that's unfortunate for these defenses in regards to how long both of these defenses have had to stay on the field. But as I mentioned at the top of our broadcast, it's going to boil down to endurance. Who has the strength? Who has the ability to go ahead and persevere through all this humidity?
Yeah.
Again, with the short conditioning period, it's going to boil down to who's going to make one less mistake than the other.
Hunter Eubanks on for the punt. High snap, Eubanks. He decides to run with it. Tries to get out of bounds, and he is brought down at the 20. The slippery pigskin strikes again. High snap. And Theodore is sitting well at the Baker 20-yard line.
Well, special teams again being special for the Theodore Bobcats, and they're able to capitalize. There's still 10:01 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Plenty of football, but the problem if you're a Baker Hornet is you've been on the football field for a very long time.
Bobcats just got out of the end zone, taking the lead back, and they're heading back to pay dirt again if they can behind T.J. Richardson. Picks up a couple. But Darian Craig in for the tackle. We'll call it 2nd and 9 here for the Bobcats.
2nd and 9 for your Bobcats.
Second and 9 here for Theodore. Richardson in the backfield. They gave it back to him. Big hole there, Corey.
Yeah.
Up the middle he goes.
Great authoritative run by Richardson, and it just boils down to look at the mud on both of these uniforms. Of course, with the white uniform, you're going to see it, but Baker Hornets' white uniforms have now turned almost black and gray, and it's a situation to where Theodore is really trying to control the trenches, and they're going to have to do so if they want to salt this game away.
3rd and 4 for the Bobcats. Keep in mind, Frias is good inside the 20, as Coach Collier told me, but outside the 20, he said he's a bit shaky. Richardson tries to pop it outside, brings it back inside, gets the first down. That was huge on that spin play to bring it back in, Corey.
He mashed the PlayStation circle button in that situation because he was bottled up behind the line of scrimmage, and you can see the hand on the hips. Great replay right here by Truck. He runs left, spins quickly all the way around, keeps his balance, and picks up a huge Theodore first down, as now it's going to be 1st and goal for the Bobcats with 8:20 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Great agility, great feet by T.J. Richardson there. Play action. Hurtrider trying to connect. He does. That ball to Raheem Quinney, but he's down at the 1-yard line. 1 yard short, and flags on the far side of the field. Look like some more of that jaw-jacking going on, Corey.
We definitely have flags on the play, and you don't want to unsportsmanlike, and it looks like that's exactly what you're going to get.
That's coming back. Yeah, that's coming back.
During the play, ineligible player downfield on the offense.
So ineligible against Theodore on that play action pass. One of the linemen deemed ineligible. Downfield too far, so that's going to push Theodore back. It's still going to be 1st and goal for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation to where it could be a bonus because the clock is still going to be running in this situation. You have more room to run on this goal-to-go situation for the Bobcats.
Not a dead ball foul there, but a flag comes in here. Whoa, Theodore going backwards again.
5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
False start. I know Coach Collier is about to blow his lid, Corey.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate, but again, the clock's still going to be running.
This ball placed at about the 18-yard line. Bobcats were 1st and goal, close to the 1-yard line, but that ball thrown behind the receiver, Nylan Harper, but a flag on the play. I think Ladarian Craig may be flagged on that one for some pass interference, and it's going the other way. So Theodore fortunate not going backwards on this penalty.
During the play, we had pass interference on the defense. It's half the distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
So that gets a majority of that yardage back, places the ball at about the 9.5-yard line. 7:22 remains here in the ball game. There's a shot of the hammer, number 21, Chandler Randall. Looks like the Bobcats may have gotten the Hornets to jump. Flag on the play there.
Theodore looks a little frustrated on the play.
Legal procedure.
So it did not work. Now we're going back.
5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Well, you know, if we're able to find a way to go ahead and have a play without a penalty flag.
A lot of tension here at C.A. Douglas Field. Both teams enter this ball game at 0-1, seeking their 1st win of the season. And as you said it numerous times, with the pandemic we're in, Corey, it's huge to get a region win, and that's a huge hole for T.J. Richardson. Do they give him credit for stretching it out? No, no, no. At the 1 yard line, a knee or something must have hit the turf. But good run by TJ.
And what's amazing is you start this close to around right where you are, and now you just have to make sure you don't turn the football over and you take care of this quick snap. The Hornets are going to try to quick snap it, but looks like there's going to be the official stop and play.
Timeout by Baker. Baker takes the timeout.
Baker calls a timeout.
Over at Ladd Stadium, Faith Academy down 7 points. Williamson on top 14-7 over at Ladd Peoples. And Murphy on top of Foley 21-3. Derek Scott, new coach over there at Foley. Corey.
Yeah,
Used to be at Viger High School.
It's a situation for him to where he knows there's a lot of building that has to be done for his Foley Lions program. But you look at the area and the region that they're in, 7A Region 1. He goes from being in a tough 5A Region 1 to going and playing in 7A Region 1. We know the great job that Coach Scott has done and will continue to do. The Mobile County Public School System hates to lose him, but again, this is a very tough region, week in and week out, and you just look at tonight's play, and it's just been so high caliber by both of these teams, and we're having an outstanding game. It's just going to boil down, can Theodore punch this in to go ahead and make the deficit too great for the Hornets to overcome?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. We've seen a lot of running here in the second half. Not too many passes, not too many balls being thrown, a little muddy action going on. If you want to call it like a slobber knocker almost, with the field in almost treacherous condition. But we're going to find out here after this timeout. Baker took a timeout, I believe their first timeout they've taken here in the second half. 6:57 on the game clock, 2nd and goal.
Nice fake.
Nice fake by Hurtrider. He's got the corner, and he hits it. That's just enough to give him 6. Touchdown, Theodore Bobcats. I like this guy, Corey. He's a senior. I like him.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a situation to where it was show and tell. He showed the football to Richardson, who had been running extremely hard in between the guard and tackle, was able to bounce it to the outside. Baker lost containment. He was able to scoot into the end zone and score 6 for the Bobcats.
Look like we have a Hornet down on the field right now after that play before we get the extra point attempt. Take a look at the replay here. Great sail by Hurtrider. Now, if we can in the truck, I want if we can run that back one more time, if possible, Corey. I don't know if that was a botched play. It looked as if he was handing off and no one was there. Pay attention. There's no one there.
He wanted to give it to the up back, the
There's
fullback.
no one there, Corey.
Hunter Eubanks.
Look at it.
Hunter Eubanks was the only up back right there, but he didn't look to receive the football.
There's no one there, Corey. So it looks like Hurtrider salvaged the play if you really look at it.
And he was able to pick up a key block on that situation by Richardson, but nonetheless 6 and trying to get 7 on the board now.
Extra point is up and good, and Theodore extends their lead by 8. 6:51 remains here at C.H. Douglas Field. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're back for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top 28-20. 6:51 remains here in the contest. That was a huge score for the Bobcats to go on top and extend their lead. to try to capture their first victory of the season.
But, you know, you're in a situation where you sustain the drive, and that's what it's all about now. Let's see if the Hornets find a way with McMillan not being at 100% answering.
Hawkins slips on the return there. Gets it up to about the 23, maybe 24-yard line. Bobcat down on the field. Number 9 for them, Daylon Smith.
Baker will take over 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line.
As the trainers come out to take a look at him. 6:43 remains in the contest. So big situation right here where Baker needs a score. And you can see on the far side, Corey, Ja'Shawn McMillan kind of running small mini sprints to loosen up that cramp.
Well, it's a situation to where you really haven't seen him try to catch the football out of the backfield. You've seen him run the football. And to me, at this point in time, it would probably be easier for him to run a route out of the backfield.
Correct.
Rather than go ahead and plant his foot and have the football and take that type of contact by 2 or 3 linemen.
Look like Smith is getting up, going to be assisted off. Somewhat under his own power. Probably took a hit right there on that return play. So Baker's going to come out. Ball sitting at the 24-yard line.
The crowd chanting defense here at C.A. Douglas Field, and I do believe we still have our heat timeout coming up.
We do, Corey. It's 6:43, so first dead ball under 6 minutes. Baker trying to go 76 yards to get a score here. Down 8 points. Hand off to McMillan. Weaves his way through some Bobcats, picks up about 4 yards. Good run.
Positive yardage, and the pressure really, though, is still on the Hornets because not only do they have to go the length of the field here, some 70 yards, they also have to, if they are able to score, they have to go ahead and start planning that 2-point conversion. I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse.
But you're right, you're right.
But again, with our score being 28-20, the heat timeout coming, Baker cannot afford to go backwards and put this thing in reverse. They got to hit it full throttle underneath 6 minutes.
Little play action, and he's got a guy up the seam. That's Hawkins. That ball was short. Kind of lofted it, but it was not enough. If Larry had really stepped into it,
there is a flag on the far sideline.
It is. I just saw that, Corey. But I think Larry had some pressure in his face. Take a look at the replay. No, he didn't. If he had just stepped into that one, Corey, and led the receiver, that would have been 6.
Going to be called against the Hornets.
Downfield.
That's our second ineligible call tonight. We had one against Theodore earlier on their previous possession.
During the play, we had an ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty where we play 2.
So that'll push the Hornets back pretty much almost to the original line of scrimmage. We'll call it 2nd and 9 here. Just outside of 6 minutes in the contest. Next dead ball will give a heat timeout. Larry's got a guy wide open, Jackson Irby. And on that one, Corey, he put a little too much on it and overthrew him.
Jackson Irby was going to make his name and his impact felt on that particular play, and it was a wonderfully designed play by offensive coordinator Justin Patterson. Just a smidgen overthrown, and that would have been a huge impact play for the Hornets, but we're going to go to our under 6-minute heat timeout here at C.A. Douglas Field.
All right, there's our heat timeout coming up. Got to thank Future Ones, where you can get your team apparel and equipment from baseball to wrestling and all sports in between. Wear the future with Future Ones. And thanks to Firehouse Subs for hooking us up with the East tonight. You want to enjoy more subs and save more lives? Stop by Firehouse Subs. A portion of subs purchased goes to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, providing life-saving equipment to first responders. So thanks to Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlight Road location, Corey. They did a great job starting off the season for us. And speaking of starting off the season, I got to let you mention once again what you experienced this morning here down in Bobcat Land.
Yeah, Mark Walter did a wonderful job here. The Theodore Booster Club put on a spread this morning, and I had an opportunity to come out and enjoy it, so I want to thank the Booster Club here at Theodore High School. And again, just the tremendous atmosphere that Principal Chip Minton puts on here at Theodore, and Eric Collier, and the kids haven't even made it back to virtual school yet, but you can see this campus, the student body, the atmosphere here is electric as we're having a great 7A Region 1 contest.
Heat timeout wrapping up here as you get a look at the Bobcats breaking the huddle. Big third down play for Baker, under 6 minutes, and the way the ball control and both teams have sustained drives. If Baker was to turn this ball over, that might be the nail in the coffin for them. So they need to pick up a first down really bad right here. Empty set. He gets it to Hawkins, throws it behind him. That's not enough, Corey. No. Fourth down for the Hornets.
Absolutely textbook tackle in that situation. 4th down and 9 yards to go. The play was a look away. Short little bubble pass, and great job of wrapping up on the play.
Who went out hurt on the kickoff, Corey. Comes back and makes a huge play. Baker has to punt right here. They have to. Hunter Eubanks on for the punt. This last one, his last punt attempt did not occur. High snap. And that led to the points off turnovers, as we call them.
Timeout, to me, was called prior to the flag being thrown.
It looks as if it was. A lot of the folks are complaining about that, a lot of the spectators. But a timeout called for Theodore.
Just didn't have, they had too many men on the field in that situation.
So that's where the flag came from.
Yes. That's why they were able to catch it. But I'm going to go back to that pop that Dalen Smith put. The outside linebackers had 3 solo tackles a week ago, but he definitely added to his overall tackles on the season and did a great job on that solo tackle of wrapping up and showing you how to do it with your head up and not leading with the crown of the helmet and just planting the Baker receiver right where he was. And a big-time situation now. Baker's defense is on the sidelines talking about, okay, guys, offensively, we're sputtering here. We're going to have to punt the football away. We'll try to get you the football back so you can tie this game up. But, you know, Eric Collier saying, all right, I want to run the ball as much as I can to my main man, T.J. Richardson, and try to milk this clock. 5:13 remaining here in the fourth quarter of action.
Eubanks runs back onto the field again. Raheem Quinney setting up at his own 45-yard line to receive the punt. The fake is on, Corey. But that pass incomplete. Eubanks is the backup quarterback for the Hornets. So the Hornets come out with a little trickeration. Special teams coach Zach Ford, they try to pull off the fake, but does not work. And Theodore's going to get this ball in great field position.
They really have.
Wow.
Unfortunately now it shortens the field for that Baker defense, and they're in a situation to where they were just on the field for a tremendous amount of time, and let's see if they can try to make something happen, because you know coach is going to try to milk the clock for Theodore.
Hand off to Richardson. All he has to do is protect the rock. Oh, Corey, he's going to take it to the house. 33 yards. I'm sorry, 28 yards. Theodore Bobcats touchdown. And that one's pretty much going to probably seal the deal for tonight. 5 minutes remaining as the Bobcats put up another score.
That's just a situation of the Hornet defense being on the field for entirely too long here in the fourth quarter, not being fresh. And because they went for the fake, it kind of backfired on them. You expected Theodore to try to run the clock out, but they would much rather have 6 on the board than running the clock out to triple zeros.
Frias's extra point is up and good. Theodore on top, 35-20. We'll be back. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Welcome back to CA Douglas Field, home of the Theodore Bobcats, on top 35-20 right now. One play, 27-yard drive for the Bobcats as they put it into the end zone to extend their lead. Up 15 points with 5:05 remaining in the ballgame. Bobbled kickoff there for the Hornets. They need to just get down if they can. You cannot afford to give up a fumble here in this situation.
No question about it. Now you're going to definitely have to go to the air and pass the football. Now you're down 15 points with 4:56 remaining here in the fourth quarter. The Bobcats have done a great job of a scoring explosion here in the fourth quarter as they weren't able to put up any points in the second quarter, but we'll see what happens.
Coming up. First day of school, Tuesday, September 1st. Get yourself ready. Parents, make sure you check your emails. Make sure your children are able to log into Schoology. Also, make sure that you as a parent is able to log in as well. First day of school, Tuesday, September 1st. Little play action here for the Hornets, trying to go deep. They got to score quick. Trying to go to Jackson Irby. There was some contact, as I believe they may be calling it on our guy, Daylon Smith there, Corey.
Yeah, going to be a pass interference call.
Contacting Jackson Irby. Irby's got some good speed there, Corey. We've seen him open twice, a couple times, on top of the past 2 times when he was open there.
You look at the replay, and again, you just don't want any offensive receiver to get behind you, and you'll take that 15-yard penalty versus giving up 6 and him running into the end zone.
It's a 15-yard penalty. With the yardage, it'd be a first down.
4 minutes, 50 seconds remains in the contest. Baker needs to score twice, but they need to score quickly to even try to get the ball back to score the second time.
And you're going to have to air it out. So, again, you have to value the football. If you're landing Hurtrider, you can't force the football. Just throw it away out of bounds and give yourself an opportunity to earn extra downs.
And Theodore knows that pass plays are coming. Landon Larry tries to escape running for his life there. Did all that running to pick up 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Hornets.
Excuse me, on that last play, I do believe I did say it Hurtrider, and you're absolutely right.
It's the battle of the Landons.
It is the battle of the Landons. Landon definitely has to know. He has to throw that football away if there's nothing, or slide feet first, because you don't want to get in the middle of the field with the clock still running.
Hey, man, I forgive you. It's the first game of the season, and they throw 2 Landons at us. Come on.
The Landon and Landon connection.
Larry gets rid of it. But that pass incomplete. It'll take the Hornets to 3rd down. And if you look on that far side, Corey, the turf is just torn up. great observation you made earlier about the uniforms for Baker. I mean, this is looking like an old school AFL, NFL game.
It is. I tell you what, the dry cleaning bill for the Baker Hornets, we're going to see if the Oxy White really works.
Man.
And trying to get those white uniforms back to crispy clean and all white condition. But, 4:07 remaining here in the fourth quarter of play. The Baker Hornets trailing by 15 points and are definitely going to have to go to the air on 3rd down and 8 yards to go when we resume play.
Coach Norman called a timeout. In this situation, you may want to call 2 plays. Landon Larry limping a bit as he runs out into formation. Got Jackson Irby up the seam, throws it behind him, incomplete. It'll be 4th down once again for the Hornets.
This is your game coming up for the Hornets because I guarantee unless Theodore is able to rip away a long, long run once they get off of the football field, the Hornets right here are down to their last gasp.
And literally, Landon Larry looking like he's down to his last gas, Corey. I mean, he may actually be out of gas. I saw him going toward his knees and kind of buckling over a bit. This young man's been through it tonight. This humidity is not helping at all either. 4:04 remains in the ball game. And Baker is going to use a timeout here.
Baker takes a timeout.
I think that may be Baker's last timeout, Corey. If
it is,
the previous timeout was charged to them, this would be their last one. And Larry's over there limping a bit on the sideline.
And you know what, Al, one of the great things, kudos to not only the football coaches, but kudos to the band directors and the cheerleading sponsors as well. During this pandemic, they've continued to practice starting on June 1 and getting back and preparing their halftime shows, and they've done a wonderful job as well. As they're as much as entertainment and as much as high school football as the players themselves. So kudos to everyone involved, not only from the band directors, cheerleading sponsors, again, the parents, the faculty, the staff, everyone who's come out here to CA Douglas Field and made high school football possible here for the Mobile County Public School System Television Network in our first broadcast of the season.
Absolutely. Huge. And speaking of this pandemic, Corey, we're kind of going week by week. So with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left, timeout, situation like this, we would normally put up what game we're covering next week. Right now, we just don't know. It could be a Friday game. It could be a Thursday game. Could be no game. We have no idea. But we'll have a game, fortunately, for you next week. And follow MCPSS TV Network on Twitter. Also, Facebook. Follow myself. Follow you, Corley Bounty. And when we find out, we'll let you know. But we plan to have a game. Up the middle, trying to connect with Javen Williams. Incomplete, and you can just look at Larry, Corey. He has had a game tonight. He looks absolutely exhausted, limping off the field, looking like Y.A. Tittle with the New York Giants back in the day.
Jamari Hawkins as well. You can't even really see that his uniform is supposed to be white. It's completely covered in brown mud, and that'll let you know we had the torrential downpour again earlier today. Probably rained 4 or 5 times since 9 or 10 o'clock this morning, but Theodore's going to take over on downs, 3:58 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
Coach Collier has pulled Hurtlighter, so Raheem Quinney is going to take over and hands off to the hammer, Chandler Randall. Corey, as we sit here about 3 minutes and 52 seconds, what do you think about our Career Tech Education Player of the Game for tonight?
Well, you have to look at a couple of players for the Bobcats that could possibly be chosen. Landon Hurtrider had a great game, as well as T.J. Richardson for the Theodore Bobcats. And, you know, defensively, I think it was a solid effort across the board by this Bobcat defense, as they gave up 42 points a week ago, only gave up 20 tonight if this score holds. But I think those are the two guys that have made a difference
fumble there. Let's see who landed on top of it. Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you. I think Richardson had a great night. Also, Hurtwriter as well. It's almost like you could flip the coin for either one of them as what they did. But I think myself, I would give the edge to Richardson if I had to, Corey. I think he really stepped up. He's a senior, and look at the situation. He had to step into the shoes of his buddy Kirsten Rogers going out. So I like if Richardson ends up with that Career Tech Education Player of the Game. So Theodore does recover. It'll be 3rd and long for the Bobcats. Raheem Quinney, he's a junior, backup quarterback. Hands that ball off to Jenkins. We called his name earlier, and we're calling it again. That's a big run, close to a first down. Braden Jenkins comes in, fresh legs. And I think he did pick up the first down, Corey. That was a huge play.
Yeah, it is absolutely huge, and you're continuing to grind the clock, and that's big time.
So 1st and 10 for the Bobcats. And with that run, that probably may eliminate all hopes for the Hornets unless they can get some kind of miraculous turnover and run it to the house. We're under 2 minutes here in the contest, and all Coach Eric Collier has to do is not fumble and just sit on the ball and keep it in bounds.
And it will be a huge win, and there's your fumble
Corey,
right there.
why did I say that, Corey?
Well,
no, I did not jinx the Bobcats.
You did, and now that gives the Hornets life, and the offense is going to trot back on the field.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
You look at it, and it was a clean handoff. The ball just slipped right out of his hands, and a turnover. Really, if I'm not mistaken, that is the first turnover fumbled that has been recovered by the Hornets in tonight's contest.
Yeah, Theodore had a couple of them, but they regained them back. A couple botch snaps. So I believe that is the first fumble turnover tonight for the Bobcats. Unfortunate, 146. Corey, make me shut my mouth next week in situations like that. I didn't mean to jinx the young man. I promise you I didn't.
Well, it's a situation, and I know Mike Herndon, if we get an opportunity to do a post-game comment, this will be Theodore's 400th career win of the school. And I saw Joe Downey, one of the former Theodore coaches here earlier, and it's just a tremendous tradition built. But 400 wins tonight would it make for this Theodore Bobcat program.
Hunter Eubanks comes in to take over quarterbacking duties for Landon Larry. Eubanks is also a junior as well, serves as the punter and backup QB. 1 minute, 40 seconds remaining here in the contest. I think they're getting the graphic ready for us in the truck for our Career Tech Education Player of the Game. So after this play, we'll put it up, see who it is. A little quick out there. I believe that's Jamari Hawkins. Corey, you're right, number 9. He is quite dirty. All right, let's get it up and see who our Career Tech Education Player of the Game is. And I believe that is Tarian Richardson, maybe known as TJ Richardson, Corey, for Theodore High School.
Very well-deserving TJ Richardson it is, and he is the Career Tech Education Player of the Game. Just was a workhorse sitting in for Kirsten Rogers this week for the Theodore Bobcats. And again, we mentioned where is Kirsten Rogers. For those that don't know, last week he did have a head injury.
Legal procedure on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And because of his head injury, he was on the sidelines cheering on TJ Richardson tonight. And he's only a junior, Kirsten Rogers is, so he has plenty of football left in front of him to be played, but just want him to be 100% healthy before he gets back on the field. And you look at next week, Theodore will be playing Alma Bryant next week, and that'll be another big-time game because if I'm not mistaken, the Hurricanes have gotten off to a 2-0 start also.
So they put it on MGM tonight, huh?
The last score I saw, that was the case.
4th and 15 for the Hornets.
So hopefully if Mike Herndon can catch up with TJ Richardson and Coach Collier, talk to them after the ball game, get some comments. Our first Career Tech Education Player of the Game this season, T.J. Richardson. 4th down and long here for the Hornets. Gets that pass complete. Close to a first down. I believe he did pick it up. Let's see what the officials say. Yeah, they're moving the chains as we get close to 1 minute remaining in the contest.
And officially, the state's longest winning streak is over as Alabama commit Deontay Lawson scores a 2-point conversion as Mobile Christian defeats UMS Wright in a great game. And Alma Bryant, Principal David Sprinkle says the Canes do win 26-6 tonight.
Hey now, look at there. Canes opening up at 2-0. That pass incomplete. Eubanks cannot connect with the receiver, Jackson Irby. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Hornets.
1:06 remaining here in the 4th quarter of action.
Some of the Bobcat fans already heading toward the exits, Corey. Always a great atmosphere down here at C.A. Douglas Field. Unfortunately, in the era that we're in right now, we didn't get the full gamut, but I do applaud those who came out and participated and bought their ticket early. This game was a sellout. 1,100 tickets sold. You couldn't even buy one at the gate. So that's a good thing for both of these schools.
Absolutely, and you look at our halftime score. Our halftime score was 14-13. And now, here with 59 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, our new score 35-20.
I think Coach Collier will be a bit more happy with the second half performance of his team, as he talked about it at halftime with Mike Herndon. Got to get the defense off the field, got to get them off. And Baker came out immediately and got a score. And you thought, oh, wait a minute, here we go again.
And they were able to sustain drives, and
Right.
that's the biggest thing, Al. They were able to get off the field defensively and offensively, put together those 10 to 11 play drives and put 6 points on the board.
That pass complete to Hawkins, and boy, he takes a hit, and the flag comes out there, Cordette. I hope that's not a targeting here.
Yeah, that would
But
definitely be a
was-
targeting.
Whoa.
That would be the clear-cut definition of targeting if you were to ask me, and that was going to be an easy call for the officials to make in regards to whether they throw the penalty flag for unnecessary roughness. As we take a look at the replay, one spin away, and then he led with the top and the crown of the head, and that's an easy call for the officials to make.
Targeting on the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty. With the yardage, it's going to be a first down.
So that puts the Hornets inside of Bobcats territory.
And, you know, what's amazing is the ability of Jayshon McMillan. Can't sing his praises enough. And it just made a difference when he started cramping. And that was the difference in this Hornets' offensive ability to produce and make points.
Right.
And they had a lot of success, and here comes another flag as we're starting to see a lot of flags being thrown
here
at the end of the contest.
Pass across the middle to Jackson Irby, and more laundry littering the field here at C.A. Douglas Field. Get the call here from Sean Kelly after he discusses it with the crew. 40 seconds remains here at the contest. Corey, some of you at the house or however you watching it may wonder, man, this game is taking a while. Every timeout, any stoppage of officials' timeout is 2 minutes.
After the play, we had unsportsmanlike on the white team. It's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down.
So you have to keep that in mind. The Alabama High School Athletic Association allowed timeouts to be extended to 2 minutes. So all stoppages are 2 minutes minus, say, a penalty like that where you have to discuss it. So that adds length to a time of the game. And keep in mind, if you're watching us at the house early in the season, especially here at the South, we get a heat timeout in every quarter. So that's 8 more minutes you add on to it with the ball stopping at the first dead ball under 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing to where when you see two teams that like to run the football and remain penalty-free, that a high school football game that can be played in 2 hours and close to 5 minutes. But when you start having excessive penalties, and we only had 6 penalties combined in the first half, and I think we've had 6 penalties.
On offense, it's a 5-yard penalty, still playing one.
Alone in this quarter.
In the quarter, I agree.
So, you've pretty much doubled up on your amount of penalties here, and I know the coaches are going to look to that as a way to improve and to use that as motivation to clean up for next week's contest.
Yeah, I know that's something Coach Collier is definitely going to work with his kids on, because they had an opportunity. They almost lost the opportunity to score when they were down deep in the Hornets territory and had 3 penalties back to back to back. Well, after that play, no laundry on the turf. 31 seconds remains here in the ball game. It'll be second down for the Baker Hornets.
And what you want to do if you're Baker, you just want to finish this contest as healthy as possible and just look towards next week and regrouping.
Connor Eubanks gets his pass out, completed to Jamarian Clemens. That'll leave 3rd and about 5 for the Hornets coming up. And I believe we have one more snap remaining here, Corey. If no penalties or any stoppages will occur. That ball across the middle to Javon Williams. Gets a first down, takes quite a lick. Both of the players are down there. That was some hard hitting going on tonight, Corey.
Absolutely.
And once they set this ball ready to play, I don't even know if the Hornets will even take a snap. But only 2 seconds remain, and that's going to be the ball game. Theodore gets their first win of the season, 35-20 over their 7A Region 1 rival, the Baker Hornets. Interesting contest tonight, Corey. We started off with some sustained drives, a lot of ground and pound, even some air attack. But in the end, it all worked out for the Theodore Bobcats.
Yeah, you looked at what Theodore needed to do. They needed to sustain Bobcat ball control to win on my checklist, and that's exactly what they were able to do throughout the contest, as they were able to sustain long drives, whether it was a 10-play drive, an 18-play drive, they were still able to do that. They were also able to show improvement from week 0, as they gave up 42 points a week ago to a great Saraland football team.
Correct.
Gave up 20 tonight, but only 7 in the second half, was able to show improvement. And again, they finished strong, and that's exactly what Coach Collier had wanted to see out of his team. He wanted to see them go ahead and let this hard work that they exhibited pay off here in their first home game of the 7A Region 1 season.
Oh, yes, and it was a good one here at C.A. Douglas Field, with Theodore getting the win 35-20. I'm pretty sure Coach Collier will talk to his kids, as I said, about those penalties in the second half. A lot of those totally unnecessary, especially the late hits and the procedural penalties. The biggest improvement for a team comes from week 1 to week 2, so I know he's going to talk to his kids about that. Speaking of talking, Mike Herndon has Coach Eric Collier.
I'm here with Coach Collier, and Coach, at halftime you said your defense needed to make a stop. In the fourth quarter, they made several of them.
Well, we went in and had a little come to Jesus, and the Lord was good to us second half. I'm proud of the way we came out and played. I just don't understand why it takes adjustments at halftime to do that. We should come out and do that at the very beginning of the game. But again, I'm proud of the way the kids played and proud of the way they battled. We're still a young team. We're still learning how to play the game. But they're a fun bunch to coach. Tonight, we worked our butt off this win tonight.
TJ Richardson had to carry the load tonight with Kirsten Rogers out. Tell me a little bit how you feel like he did, and also the play of your offensive line up front.
Well, I told the offensive line at halftime. I went in and spoke specifically to them and said, look, guys, if we're going to win this thing, we're going to win it with y'all. And we built our team around our offensive line, and I'm proud of them boys. 2 of them are 3 starters, started every game for us, and I'm proud for them. But TJ, I'm so proud for him because he's waited his turn, he's worked, he's grinded. He deserved this tonight, and I'm proud for him.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations.
All right, Corey, there it is. Actually, Coach Collier told us in the field house before the game he had a come to Jesus meeting last week at halftime, so that's two weeks in a row.
You know, the prayers go up and the blessings come down in that situation for Coach Collier, but his team found a way, again, to put 4 quarters of football, make their home team go away very happy and moving on to next week.
All right, Theodore gets the win. I don't know where we're going to be next week, but we will let you know where we will be. For Mike Herndon, Corey LeBounty, Quentin Howard, our executive producer, and Wade Ford, our director, I'm Al Whedon, thanking you for joining us tonight for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Have a great evening.